Claims of sectarian division with educational reforms that promote Islam.
There have already been calls for protests among Syrian civil society activists ahead of the start of the new school term. On Sunday, they want to make clear their opposition to any moves by the transitional government to bring in changes to the education system. Evolution and the Big Bang Theory are being dropped from science teaching. The phrase defending the nation has been replaced by defending Allah. Some Syrians have welcomed the changes, but others believe the moves contradict promises by the new authorities for a transition that will take account of all the different communities in Syria.
The BBC's Sebastian Usher. Opponents of a big lithium mine under construction in Nevada want U.S. officials to investigate whether the project is causing a drop in groundwater levels, could lead to the extinction of a tiny snail. News and analysis at townhall.com. The feds holding a Virginia man who they suspect may have been plotting something dangerous and deadly.
The stockpile was found during a December search of the home and detached garage of 36-year-old Brad Spafford. Federal investigators found more than 150 homemade pipe bombs, explosive devices marked as lethal, and some of the homemade bombs loaded into a wearable vest. Other apparent pipe bombs were found in a backpack in a bedroom of the home Spafford shares with his wife and 2 young children. He's being held on firearms charges, but prosecutors say he faces numerous additional potential charges. His defense attorneys argue there's not a shred of evidence that he was planning violence and that he has no criminal record. But at a hearing this week, the judge agreed to keep him detained. I'm Jennifer King.
10 people injured in a shooting outside a nightclub in Queens, New York. Police say about 15 people were standing outside that club late last night when 4 men approached and opened fire. Nothing about a motive for the attack. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy 2025.
That's right. We made it.
It is the second day.
Yeah, you got through it, and most of us got through it. It's
Yesterday was a weird day.
Yesterday was a very weird day.
Yeah, I mean, with the news, the stuff going on in Vegas and in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
It's crazy, all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, it does seem tied in some weird way, doesn't it, with some connections, but I can't say for sure, but there's a lot of coincidences. It's just, I don't know. It does seem like with all that going down at that time and this and at one time, and it was a slow news day generally on the second day. So
besides all that stuff, so
they pretty much just covered that wall to wall all day on regular news. I mean, like regular TV. If you were trying to watch, like Judge Judy's or whatever you were into, it was kind of getting preempted most of yesterday. Or mostly the stuff in New Orleans, but occasionally they pop over to the Cybertruck explosion there in Vegas. What's going on? So.
I'll tell you though, it has been. The thing for me is it has been so hard to keep track of what day it is. And normally that's a hard thing for me anyways. So like my days have just been completely cattywampus. Like, is it a weekend? Is it a weekday? Yeah. I mean, is there stuff I need to do today? And I've been all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm ready to get back to a simple routine. It's like I know that everybody's talking about January 6th, yada yada yada, but it is the return to. I'm going to say that January 6th is the unofficial start of 2025 because that's when everything I think is going to get back to. Okay, here we go.
Monday,
yeah,
when it's like a normal work week.
Right. These last extraneous days of this week don't feel like they should count.
Although. In the world, things are getting more regular today. Like I got a meeting tonight, like a normal meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recollect correctly, like the network TVs are showing like new programming tonight. So like, although I maybe whoever's shown the was it whatever bowl game they preempted there,
Sugar Bowl.
Thank you. I was like, it's not Cotton Bowl. I think that's next week, but whatever that one, Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be on one of the networks tonight. But I think like I thought I saw like advertisements for tune in Thursday for an all new whatever shows.
I got to tell you now, I finally got caught up. It took us, and I love Peacock for this because they've had the show on for a while, and I was able to do a mini binge, me and Misty. But St. Dennis Medical, if you haven't checked it out yet,
it looks good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I don't have like. I mean, I got your on my phone, but I don't have like a way to watch
regular.
Peacock. Yeah.
It's real. If you liked Scrubs, it's really good. It's right up there with it. It's got the heart of like of Scrubs, but it's very slapstick and it's
Bill Lawrence and all that same.
No. This feels more like. Do you remember the show Superstore?
Yes.
It feels like the people behind Superstore doing
which
Scrubs.
is like a spinoff of Sam's or Costco or whatever. Yeah.
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 It feels like those people that like style, but doing Scrubs.
Okay.
Like even to the point where there was an episode of St. Dennis Medical just in this first season that was almost not like word for word a take from Scrubs, but it's almost the exact same plot line.
Right.
And I understand it's one of those things that like makes sense as far as medicine goes, is that medicine is a thankless job, and this male nurse is just trying to get the guy whose life he saved to say thank you.
Right.
And he can't get it out of him. But so it's a funny show. It's like the premises are really good, but I recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out here. Maybe it's an on-demand thing on my satellite that I can maybe watch it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, NBC.
Probably in like a little block.
Yeah, like an NBC on-demand set channel.
I worry because people are like, well, I've heard good things. I'm going to get to it. I hope people do because I want it to, at least have a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get the Scrubs run, but, a couple of seasons.
Well, I caught up on some things too.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that's for me.
It's it's an inside thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed when last I spoke to young Michael last year.
Yeah.
He was wrapping up Deadpool and Wolverine.
I did finish that.
Nice.
I finished that. I'm caught up on several series. Shrinking. I've watched the second season. That pretty good. Landman. I'm caught up on. Kim and I started watching Elsbeth about 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Okay.
We're caught up on that. I got a couple other things now because like on that little stick thing I have, like I noticed over the weekend, I can watch Gladiator 2, Wicked right now. I watched half of Gladiator 2 the other night. I started it late.
I'm surprised you didn't dive right into Wicked.
Well, I'm going to be passing on it. Not
feels right up your
diving
alley.
into Wicked there. Although the movie If was on there.
Oh,
I almost clicked on that. But I had a lot of Ryan Reynolds lately, so I said, nah. I'm gonna
you've kind of been on Ryan Reynolds overload.
The Wolverine thing is good. It was a Wolverine. It was all right. It was good. It was. I do like that it does make fun of itself. I do like the countless digs at various references,
and that's really what I think you and I would get out of it is watching the stuff in the background.
Yeah, I do enjoy
and there's
that.
Plenty to watch.
I do like the running gag about the cool costume for Wolverine. Finally, that was kind of like why you got the good one. Even the helmet. Look at that.
My favorite joke in the entire movie, it actually happens towards the beginning, is when he finally finds a good Wolverine and he hops off the bar stool and he's about yay tall. And that's accurate because in the comic book / series, Wolverine's a little guy.
Yeah,
you know?
he's Wolverine.
So that's accurate, but boy, is that funny.
I did enjoy the various Deadpools, including the dog Deadpool.
Yeah. Dog pool. Hot pool, which was, I believe, his wife.
Yeah, the baby pool was pretty funny. It was good. Well, and
nice pool.
Yeah, that was his
Canadian self.
Yeah, with hair and
with the long hair.
Yeah,
who just ends up getting lit up. Spoiler alert, but it's been long enough. If Mike finally finished it, it's been long enough. Just nice pool gets used as a shield and just gets lit up.
It was kind of funny. I didn't know he didn't have regenerative power. Sorry. But he had the shiniest Deadpool suit of all the Deadpools.
Where's your mask? He goes, come on.
But yeah, it was all right. It was good.
That and the whole baby knife thing.
Yeah.
Those are always fun. Well, good. So you finally finished that. That is a good thing.
Yeah, it was. I did. You know what? Of all of the cameos, the one that made me the happiest was Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Yeah.
That was like the one that was like, all right, because that's like he kind of was there before all these other guys were. You know what I mean? The Blade.
He was the cinematic universe before there was a cinematic universe.
Yeah, he was in that creamy middle between Keaton Batman and the MCU now. You know, so it was kind of because like him and what's the other Spawn? That's another one. I'm not. That might be DC. I don't know. I'm not. that nerd.
Actually, I think Spawn is its own thing.
See, I think if they could have crowbar a Spawn in there too, that would have been kind of fun.
Get Todd McFarlane on the phone. I'm sure we could borrow the likeness.
Yeah, they did a movie.
Channing Tatum was great as Gambit.
Yeah,
I thought
Marvel people got the money to borrow him for a minute. I mean, well, I don't know. They may have tied up all their royalties and music licensing. There was so much Madonna in that.
Yeah, there's a lot. I am curious to see if anybody's going to make a play, either DC or Marvel, to get the Sonic universe embedded into their universe so that they can have like Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow fighting for the Avengers next, like in the next movie or something.
Why not? Weirder things could happen.
Come on, Disney! You just got to pony up to buy out Sega. You can do it.
I gotta admire Disney's marketing campaign to kick off the new year. I've noticed a lot of their commercials over the holiday break here, and I think they're trying to reel it in. You know, after all the woke, after countless episodes of Disney products getting scrutinized in the world every time it gets put out, that Snow White thing that they still can't release, that they just keep screwing up. In the world of that, I've noticed in their commercials all weekend, it was like, everyone has a Disney memory. Share your Disney memory. How much you love Disney. And a lot of them are older people talking about the time with their kids or whatever or something. And so I was like, well played, Disney, because that's the one thing you got. Is you're really in everybody's hearts.
Yeah.
Even though you done made everybody mad, at the end of the day, everyone's happy at Disney World.
Come back home to the warmth of your own memory.
So they're playing that angle now. So I can appreciate it.
Come home to the warmth of your own inhumanity. Come home to the taste of Simple Rick.
Oh, man.
That's what you really need. If you want to unite people around you, just get a warm voiceover.
Yeah.
If you can get somebody just like a old Wilford Brimley back in the day, just like an old Don Pardo would have been, back in his day would have been great. All the good ones are gone. Don
To be
LaMontagne.
honest, Sam Elliott can pull it off.
See, Sam Elliott would be the grab.
Yeah.
He
can pull it off. I mean, yeah, he can do the beef. It's what's for dinner, but he also can get that inspirational warm side on him. He's like, with the warm heart of, he can throw that in.
Everybody remembers where they were when. Where were you when Mufasa revealed the dark parts of the forest? He could dip a toe.
Yeah.
So,
but
come on, Disney, pony up.
Yes. There was something else I was going to mention too. I can't remember what it was.
Getting caught up on a few things. I did now that I have the Netflix.
Yes.
I did sort of pop on the first part of the
Squid Game.
Huh? No, the documentary.
We Are the World. Oh, yes.
I watched the first half of that documentary, and you're absolutely right when you mentioned the chaos of all of this, and the only reason it could happen was because of the American Music Awards, but that also completely complicated everything.
Exactly,
because you're running back and forth, and there was a whole lot of mess that went into that.
It's just seeing celebrities not in the spotlight. All together in one room, and they all kind of don't know what to do with their hands. It's so funny for me to watch,
And it was also sort of like there was a lot of people that I feel like were guilted into doing it.
Sure.
It's like, you could say no.
Yeah.
We're not making you do this. It's just not going to look good on you,
right.
for you.
Yeah. Well, and once you get more into it, there is at least one scorned, disgruntled person.
Now, I got to the whole Prince versus Michael Jackson of it all.
Yeah, well, there's more with the Prince stuff and all that, because he almost made it. No spoiler alert, in real life, he's not on that.
Yeah.
But right up in the last minute, they thought he was going to be on it. And they used someone to get to him.
Okay.
And then snubbed her at the end.
Yeah, that's where I had to bow out. Was that whole section where they were like Prince. I'm like, I got another thing.
Yeah, but there was I don't want to say it on thing, but you probably know if you knew Prince, a relatively famous singer that was famous in her own right, but through kind of the Prince world. And they were using her to try to get Prince onto We Are the World, and they kind of promised her a thing on We Are the World if she got Prince, and she didn't get Prince, and she got no thanks. And she's a little butt salty about that too.
I mean, it's we don't need you, we needed you with Prince.
Right. Yeah, kind of like that. So. But it's good if you haven't watched it. One thing I did watch on there too, and then I'll do the rundown and all that here. Football fans, and this was something that I remember seeing a couple years ago in the news. I'm like, this is crazy. If y'all remember, back in like 2022, it got into the news where a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan who dressed up in a wolf costume. He goes by the name of Wolfaholic.
Okay,
he's famous in that world.
Sure.
Well, he's always went to all the games, and he was at the games and on the road games and all this. And and he's got a huge social network presence and all that. Well, it turns out he got busted for robbing a bank, and then it unrolled this thing where he was on this whole crime spree. As Chiefs Nation, under Chiefsaholic, he was going on the road robbing banks and using that, and then using the launder that money by placing big bets like on the Chiefs and everything else.
Wow.
And so he's winning the money, but that's how he was funding his thing. But yeah, and so, but this guy that was kind of like a celebrity in the Chiefs world turns out to be the biggest, murderer.
Well,
and armed killer.
That's a
robber.
risky endeavor anyways, because the first thing people are going to say is, how are you able to afford this?
Right. Well,
and then you start doing some digging.
Well, he's like one of these guys that's like stupid but smart.
Unless your name is Peter Thiel, you shouldn't be able to afford going on that many games.
Very crafty, very smart, but the big scope of things is he's just a dummy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's using his brains for dumbness. That's kind of one of those things. But anyway, it's on the net. No, that's on Amazon Prime. I'm sorry, that's not on Netflix. That's on Prime. But it's called Chiefaholic, and it's about an hour and a half documentary on that whole dude. If you ever remember seeing that in the news here around 2022, so worth a check out.
I'll have to look into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you the rundown. Let's see. This hour we're going to replay our interview we had on Tuesday. Right? Yeah, that was Tuesday.
Last year.
Yeah, it was a year ago. Give me a break. Jim Lucy, who's with the African Children's Choir, where they're going to be doing a free performance, and love to get everyone out to Roswell First Church of the Nazarene this Sunday morning for a big performance there at 10:45. But we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had earlier in the month with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. He's talking kind of end of year, beginning of the year stuff, reminders and stuff, just in case you forgot to do some of that over the holidays. Do a little reminder. Yeah. Still got time. Knock it out. And then Crystal Noble will join us for the first time in 2025.
Nice.
From the Roswell Humane Society. Give us an update what they got going on for the new year.
A preview.
Yeah. Plus, we'll have all of your newses of the local and national variety, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. But first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in pretty good shape for a while. We have high pressure over the Four Corners, and that's covering our area. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sunshine, and the wind should stay fairly calm. Low 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then we're expecting low 60s for the high on Friday, and we keep the sunshine. Mix of sun and clouds on Saturday, sunny on Sunday, highs in the 60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get to my weather here. Currently, 30 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 79% with winds out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. Going to be warm today. Sunny, 68 are expected high today. Winds will be out of the southwest at around 5 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 31 degrees with west winds at around 5 miles per hour. For you Friday, sunny, 64 for a high tomorrow. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Weekend looking pretty good, nice as well. Saturday, partly cloudy, 70 for a high with south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny on Sunday as well with highs in the low 60s, 62 there. And then start next week, Monday's going to be cold, 49 for a high on Monday. So I guess we got a cold front moving in Sunday night there. Tuesday, we're looking at some snow shower chances with a high of 43. So, yeah, to next week, it gets cold. So, but enjoy this week because it's nice. But next week doesn't look like it's going to be that way. All right, 7:24, we're going to take a 3-minute break. And then on the other side, we're going to play our interview we had with Jim from the African Children's Choir. That's coming up on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
As you look forward to the new year, you may be making some New Year's resolutions for yourself. Things like exercising regularly, eating healthier, or something else that you may not do any longer than the first week of the year. How about you take a different approach for this year's resolution? Instead of focusing on yourself, come up with a resolution that can help others. Look around you and see where there's a need and resolve to meet that need. It could be helping out once a month at a local nonprofit. It could be writing an encouraging note every week to someone who's sick or dealing with a difficult time. It could be intentionally sharing the story of how God has made a difference in your life. At Country Club Road, we are making resolutions for the future with this mission: know Jesus and make Jesus known. We invite you to join us as we work together to develop our Vision 2030 plan titled For All That You're Going to Do. Happy New Year and God bless.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Registration for the spring semester is on now at ENMU Roswell. A great career in healthcare, arts and sciences, or technical trades is waiting for you. Now's the time to skill up and get certified. Register today for spring 2025 classes and talk with an advisor. Log on to roswell.enmu.edu. ENMU Roswell, success starts here.
Success starts here. ENMU Roswell.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Whether it's NFL on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night, or college football, Game Day Roswell is your #1 destination, with a kitchen open for all your favorite snacks and apps, and a stock bar with a full line of beers and spirits, with happy hour pricing all the time, including $4 bottles and $5 16-ounce tap. And try the Game Day Signature Shot Cinnamon Rocky Mountain Honey Whiskey, open Monday through Friday at 3, Saturdays at 11, and Sundays at 10:30 at 913 South Sunset in Roswell. Game Day, the place to go for sports.
I'm only going a short distance. I never wear a seatbelt for that.
Seatbelts are too constraining, so I don't want to wear it.
My pickup truck will protect me. Why do I need a seatbelt?
It's a fact. Seatbelts save lives. Whether you're going to the corner store or traveling across the state, wear your seatbelt. Whenever you get into a vehicle, be a good example for your passengers and buckle up. Seatbelts are there to protect you and your passengers, so wear them. Remember, if you buckle up, they'll buckle up. Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 15 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us on the phone here this morning from the African Children's Choir, Jim Luzzi joining us this morning. Good morning, Jim. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us on the phone here this morning. Now, for folks, we want to invite everybody out this Sunday to church on the Roswell First Church of the Nazarene here in Roswell, 501 North Sycamore, where the Africans Children Choir will be doing a performance 10:45 Sunday morning here this upcoming Sunday. First off, for folks that may not be familiar, tell us a little bit about the African Children's Choir and talk. We want to get to the story, but kind of talk a little bit about the show and the concert and what these children, what they do.
Okay. So yeah, like you said, the African Children's Choir is one of the programs that are run by the large organization Music for Life, under which we have different other programs. But focusing more on the African Children's Choir program, which I am part of right now as the tour leader of choir number 53. The children go out and do a tour of about 6 months, raising funds for their education and also to run different programs under Music for Life. But the way they do it is they do it through concerts, performances, in different churches or places they have been invited.
Okay.
And what they do is they have, right now we are doing the Just As I Am album, which is comprised of different hymns that were once forgotten, and now we're just bringing them back so that people can remember and listen to the profound message that they bear. And also, we have different African pieces. One is the drum piece and also the African dance.
Okay.
And they may also get a chance to see and hear African songs to kind of show them the African culture as well, but most importantly, to show them the joy that the African child has regardless of the struggles through, many of them are coming from impoverished homes, poor backgrounds.
Sure.
But that does not stop them. We are trying to show them that there is a better future out there, and we are trying to give them guidance to help them, and also through sponsorship, they are empowered to make their lives better and also everyone around them. And hopefully, eventually, they will make Uganda and Africa a better place.
It's when we talk about music and I'm assuming, many of these children, through probably missionaries and things, were led and found Christianity and found Jesus. And and of course, you hear the hymns, you hear the songs that come with, with the faith of Christianity. And I imagine for them, it's like, well, we get to hear this. But then, with this performances and what they do, they get to hear what is traditional for some Christians, but they get to hear it with an interpretation from the African culture to say, hey, we hear these hymns, we hear this, and this is how we bring our contribution to these songs, and how how come and interpret us and can make us where you kind of put your own inspiration on it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Now, do they all come from the one country, Uganda? There, or are these children from all over Africa?
So back in the past, we've had children coming from different parts of different African countries.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, for example, was in choir number 16 as a little boy, so I got to travel.
Okay.
And my choir was comprised of children coming from 3 different countries in Africa, which was Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda.
Okay.
And then choir number 18 was comprised of children coming from Nigeria and Ghana. So I think then we have had a choir coming from South Africa as well. And now, then you're able to see and know that, there are different parts of the countries that we've had choirs come from.
Sure.
But currently we have been having children come from Uganda. And sometimes it's just the different government policies. Sometimes there are countries that don't want or may feel like there's no need of the organization support.
Sure.
And they'll go ahead and, take care of the kids for themselves. But with that said, when Ray Barnett started the organization back in 1984,
mm-hmm.
He unfortunately passed away this year. This year, September 2nd. But we do grateful and we celebrate his legacy that he has left behind, and we'll continue, spreading the hope and making sure that every child gets a chance to dream and fulfill their potential.
So it kind of makes 2025 a little bit more special for the choir this year.
Yes, definitely.
I'm kind of curious because, like you said, some of the children come from different countries within Africa. Does that because I would imagine if you grew up in one country, you're what you experience and things. There's going to be similarities, but differences too. Is there a lot of even infusion of culture within the choir in itself? Just taking different aspects from each country in Africa and kind of infusing it together, or is the culture so close that they really do share common culture there?
Yes, when you look at the African culture, it's process, goes beyond borders,
mm-hmm.
the different countries, because children quickly learn a lot from homes and their families. And we have the saying that it takes a whole village to raise a child back home in Africa,
mm-hmm.
not just, the biological parents or guardians. So with that said, and also we've had a general poverty experience in most of these countries. So we kind of have a similar culture, although we may be slightly different because we're coming from definitely different countries.
Sure.
But the struggle is pretty much the same. The poverty is pretty much the same. So when the children come and join and become part of a choir program, they kind of have similar stories to share.
Sure.
And as you go ahead and listen to the different testimonies of those that have gone through the program like
mm-hmm.
and you compare it with some other some other person that has gone through the program from a different country, you see very little difference because we all go through the same, journey. Coming from a poor family,
sure.
Then you're given hope through education and support by the organization. You maybe get a qualification, like a degree or something. You start working, then you're able to help those around you and yourself as well. So it's a similar story for most, if not all of us.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of there might be slightly different details in the thing, but we all kind of came from the same conditions, the same type of lifestyle, and with that we have common ground. What's like some of the young? What's the youngest age group of children in the choir, and do they go all the way up to 17, 18? What's kind of the age range of the children in this year's choir?
So the African Children's Choir, the choir has children from the ages of 8 years, sometimes 7 to 11 years, and currently the youngest we have in choir number 53 is 8 years, then the oldest is 10 years old.
Wow. This is really great now. And this is the part, that they get to, obviously through the program, they're creating a foundation to give, whatever dreams these children have when they get to become adults, they've got a foundation to pursue that. But on the other side too is is the experiences that these kids, it's imagine, if for folks listening, if you were 7 or 8 years old and you got to go to a whole nother country and experience other cultures and do things that, to do that as a 7 or 8 year old versus as a 30-year-old. And so I think these children they're probably taking as much from the experience of just coming and going from various cities in the United States. And I imagine do you guys go to other like Europe or other parts of the world too and do this?
Yes, we have in the past, but these previous choirs, about 4 choirs, we have been doing the U.S. tours.
Okay.
So the West Coast, one choir may do the West Coast and the other choir may do the East Coast. Then, some meet in between there.
Okay.
But in the past, we've had children go to different other countries, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, England. We've had choirs go to Japan. We've had choirs go to Singapore. I have been in Singapore as a child in the choir. And I've been to Netherlands, I've been to Wales, or so many other countries. We have choirs that have gone to, I think, France.
Wow. I imagine you got some pretty good frequent flyer miles on the airline there, huh?
I don't know. Yeah, but it's all about experience and exposure to the child because, once you travel and see the world, and you kind of get to know that it's not all about your situation currently. There is a bigger world out there. And you use that, exposure and experience to make yourself better and also those around you better. You take the development back home. You're like, hey, this is actually possible because I have seen it happen.
Sure.
I have seen the buildings and everything, the wonderful, beautiful roads. So you have that mentality as a child, and as you grow up, you try to work towards that based on what you've experienced.
Absolutely, and I mean, obviously, governments and do what governments do in the world of that. Oh, we as individual people, sometimes you got to go with the flow and make the best of life as you can there. But I would imagine as these children grow up, and like you said, some are going to go back to their homes, and hopefully they can affect these positive changes. And like you said, where maybe their kids won't have to come from that same background that they had to go to because they came back and made a difference in their communities. You know what I mean? And I imagine that's probably in a lot of these children's hearts when they do after all the tour and after all the music, and when they do go back to what they want to do with their life again. I imagine a lot of them do kind of look back and say, I want to use this to make my community a better place for the next generation.
Oh, yes.
Which I imagine is for years like that too, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you look at our mission, the mission of the organization, which is helping Africa's most vulnerable children today so they can help Africa tomorrow. So that's the goal for all of us. Once you go through this, you are helped. It's your full responsibility to extend the help. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I imagine, it helps you guys can sing too. That's the other part. There is we talk about the opportunity and we talk about, but these are amazing, talented musicians as well too. You're going to hear beautiful performances on Sunday and unique takes on things stuff you've never seen or been exposed to before, but also things that you're going to be like, oh, that's something I'm very familiar with. I've just never heard it done that way before. So I think folks are really going to enjoy you guys' performance on Sunday. Now, you guys are just here in Roswell for this one Sunday morning performance, correct?
Yes, we are.
Very good. And it's going to be this Sunday, January 5th, 10:45 in the AM service, and it's going to be at Roswell First Church Nazarene, which for folks not familiar, it's there on Sycamore, 501 North Sycamore. Come on by for service, and of course, enjoy the African Children's Choir. So for you guys on the tour, where did you guys start, and where do you guys go next?
Well, we started off in North Carolina, then we hit Pennsylvania, and we've been traveling to different other states. The whole of New England, we've been to all those states. Okay. Ohio, we've been to Kentucky. They got to see to visit the Ark Encounter.
Oh, Is that
So
a highlight
was amazing.
for the trip
Yeah,
so far
it's
for you?
one of the highlights. Yeah, definitely. Something I don't dream to see, and we got to see that, so that was extra special.
Okay.
But then the whole of December we've been in different parts of Texas.
Okay.
And now January we moved to New Mexico. Yeah, so most of January is going to be in the different areas of New Mexico.
It's kind of.
Then we'll go to.
It's kind of. I imagine you kind of notice as you go to these different parts of the country. Notice how, like, even like the foods we eat, everything else is different, huh?
Yeah, it's different. it's America is so diverse,
That's true.
You cannot just define it by one town or one city you go to. It's different in different places.
It is. It's really and you could even, like you were just talking about being in Texas, in a place like Texas, you could literally go 30 miles away and it'd be a different culture.
Yep, I have seen that.
So I gotta ask, what's been your favorite food since you've been on tour here? Anything you tried new that you really dug or did not like? I'd be curious about that too.
I love burgers so much, and they love me back.
Yeah, you got to be careful of those. Those burgers will slow you down if you eat too many of them.
I try to do exercise, and then I also love lasagna, definitely.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. So good pasta.
Nope.
Do you like spicy foods or not so much?
Mild.
Mild, okay. Well, now that you're in New Mexico, kind of green chili's our thing here in New Mexico. So I'm sure at some point when while you're here, some folks will introduce you to some green chili and probably some Mexican food. I'm sure you had some in Texas, but maybe some enchiladas or something like that. You can never go wrong with that around here. So.
Yeah, we are looking forward to, food is another language I love understanding.
Food, everybody loves food. Everybody, that's what makes, we could, at the end of the day, we could solve a lot of problems in this world over dinner.
Yep, that's true.
Absolutely. True. Well, Jim, we do appreciate you spending some time with us. Folks, again, come out and see the African Children's Choir. They're going to be performing this Sunday, January 5th at 10:45 in the morning at Roswell First Church of the Nazarene at 501 North Sycamore. Come on out, one-time only performance. And then, so if you want to come see them, it's free. Just come, bring the family, come and enjoy a beautiful way to ring in 2025. And especially, we kind of look at the beginning of the year as a time of renewal and a time of, refreshing, or maybe a time to better yourself or better your situation. Well, start it with a beautiful inspirational performance by the African Children's Choir, where I guarantee you're probably going to be blown away, especially when you see these kids, especially when you see younger kids do things that adults are really, that adults can't do. That always amazes me. And so.
Yeah, they are going to, just have a time of a lifetime, the perfect way to start the year.
Sure.
Seeing the joy through the music and everything.
I imagine you get to see since you're kind of a world traveler now, so you've been around a bit, but I mean, when you see some of the younger kids, a lot of big eyes when they're probably hitting cities and hitting some of these places for the first time, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We haven't seen snow yet, so it's one thing we're definitely looking out for.
Ooh, will you?
The kids haven't.
Snow's a different thing. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, where are you going after this?
So we'll be after Roswell.
Okay. Yes, after Roswell.
Yeah, we will be Ruidoso.
Okay.
Then El Paso. So we'll come back to Texas for a bit. Then in El Paso, then we'll go to Mogodo.
Okay.
Then La Rosa. Then Rio Rancho.
Okay, so you're going to be hanging out in New Mexico for a while.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this. Ruidoso, I'm not sure if they're going to have snow the day you're there, but there is a ski resort in Ruidoso called Ski Apache, and they've got snow right now. So if you're in Ruidoso and you all get a little time in your hands, go up to the ski resort, and you guys will find snow and get to roll around in the snow over there.
We definitely will do that.
Yeah. And then you might want to check out some skiing. Bring a coat. It'll be chilly.
I have not done skiing before.
Yeah. See, they're only about an hour away from us, but they are much higher in elevation. We're about 6,000 feet here in Roswell. Up where Ski Apache is and all that, where the ski resort is, it's about 12,000 feet. So it's a lot colder up there. So.
Do you get snow in Roswell?
Once in a while, we'll get, usually once a year, we'll get an inch or two here and there.
Okay.
Although about 6-8 years ago, we had, they called it Winter Storm Goliath, and we got 20 inches of snow, which was about almost a meter and a half of snow, probably would something you'd understand, measurement-wise there. So it was, and that shut us down. We didn't know what to do with ourselves with that one. So.
Okay.
But, Ruidoso, I think you're going to have a good chance of seeing snow in Ruidoso.
We are looking forward to it. We want to, the children to have that first experience.
Excellent. Well, I think you're going to do it. I think you'll enjoy it, and I hope you really do enjoy New Mexico. All of it is you're going to get to see a lot of it there. You're going to notice as you go to the northern part of the state, it's going to be a little bit different than the southern part. It's different. It's more desert down here, where it's more mountains up there. So it's a little different. So, but folks, if you want to see them here in Roswell, the African Children's Choir will be performing this Sunday, 10:45 a.m. at Roswell First Church of the Nazarene. They're on Sycamore, 501 North Sycamore. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the church or look at their Facebook page. They do have an event page on their Facebook that's got all the information you need right there, so you can look it up there too. So, hey, Jim, before we let you get back to it, is there any information or anything you wanted to share that we just forgot to mention?
Well, thank you, Mike, for giving us this platform.
Oh, anytime.
To kind of share our story and let people know. And we am truly grateful for that. Then, in case anybody wants more information regarding the African Children's Choir, they can always visit our website at africanchildrenschoir.com.
Okay.
We have travel dates there. There are programs that are run by the organization, the story, and in case someone wants to do a donation to the choir programs, they can also do that through the website as well.
Excellent. And of course, and if you want to read more about the story, and I know we touched on it a little bit, but if you want to get a little more in depth on exactly what kind of things the organization is doing with these children, you can read all about that at the website there.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, the concerts are free. So nobody needs to worry about paying, for getting a ticket or anything.
Just come on in.
We just do sometimes collect a love offering during the concert, and it's all entirely optional.
But if you can afford it and are able to do it, God bless you, thank you. But if not, doesn't come on down and hear the word of God and see it and experience it in a unique way, and that's through the eyes of these and through the voices of these children. I think you'll really be impressed by it. So, Jim, thank you very much. It was great to have a conversation with you, and look forward to seeing you here this weekend. And who knows? We never know. You may be if our paths cross again here. If you ever come through the area, I'd love to come in for a visit.
Oh, thank you so much. Looking forward to meeting you all.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jim, and rest up that voice for Sunday here.
You are most welcome.
All right. Take care, Jim.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. Just a quick tour there. That was Jim Luzzy with the African Children's Choir. I had a great conversation with them. They got it. I was kind of reading some of the stuff on the website earlier, and they really do some cool stuff there. So I invite you to check them out again. It's going to be this Sunday, January 5th, 10:45 a.m. at Roswell First Church of the Nazarene, 501 North Sycamore here in Roswell. All right, it is 9:38. Let's pause for news.
Now,
and,
your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Police Department is investigating a shooting homicide that occurred early on New Year's Day in the southeast part of the city. The victim was found by a passerby at about 4 in the morning near East Chisholm and Cahoon Avenue. The victim was found laying in the street and was deceased at the scene. He had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, according to Roswell police. The victim was later identified as 24-year-old Marco Antonio Munoz. Anyone with information about this is urged to call 575-624-6770. 20 employees of Southwest Cheese Factory in Clovis were injured in a chemical spill Monday. A dozen remain hospitalized today. Turns out the toxic gas leak caused the problem, likely due to an equipment malfunction. Nearly 9 gallons of toxic acid spilled and mixed with chlorine, creating a toxic chemical mixture. The CFD Hazardous Materials Response Team was called to the scene. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Amazon Prime costs $139 a year. That's a lot. I'm Kim Commando for Here.com. If these words come out of your mouth, what'd you say? Get a free hearing evaluation right now at Here.com/Kim. There's a cheaper option than Amazon Prime. You may not even know about it. Walmart Plus. It's $98 a year. Like Prime, you can shop online and get free next day or 2-day shipping. In terms of service, they're similar but different. With Amazon, you get your groceries delivered from Whole Foods or Amazon Fresh. Your Walmart groceries come from your local store. If you buy over $35 worth, it's free delivery. When it comes to entertainment, Amazon offers a lot more with Prime Video, music, and books. Walmart throws in a free Paramount Plus Essential membership, has fuel discounts, and lets you scan and go. But Amazon lets you share your membership with someone else in your house. Use these points to pick the right one for you. Get more money-saving tips with my free newsletter. You can sign up right now at getkim.com. Did you know that hearing well isn't just about catching every word? It's actually a secret weapon for keeping your brain sharp and staying socially connected. When you struggle to hear, your brain works overtime trying to make sense of muffled sounds, and that can lead to mental fatigue and even memory problems over time. Scary, right? But here's the great news. Hearing aids can take that strain off your brain. They don't just help you hear, they help you focus, think clearly, and stay engaged with the world around you. You'll feel sharper and more connected to people such as family and friends, like the best version of yourself. Hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about living life to the fullest. And with Here.com's Horizon 9 hearing aids, you get crystal clear sound, and they're practically invisible too. Take charge of your hearing and see how much it can improve your life. Check out Here.com/Kim to see if you qualify for a 45-day no-risk trial of the Horizon 9 hearing aids. That's Here.com/Kim, HEAR.com/Kim, Here.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in pretty good shape for a while. We have high pressure over the Four Corners, and that's covering our area. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sunshine, and the wind should stay fairly calm. Low 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then we're expecting low 60s for the high on Friday, and we keep the sunshine. Mix of sun and clouds on Saturday, sunny on Sunday, highs in the 60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. It's back to action for 4 boys basketball teams. They're not wasting any time. Right back out on the hardwood, and that includes the Roswell Coyotes this evening playing in Las Cruces against Oregon Mountain. Roswell is 8-3 overall. Oregon Mountain is 6-3. That starts at 6 o'clock. Last game for Roswell was a championship game lost to Palo Duro from Amarillo at the Poe Corn tournament. Same thing for Goddard. Their last action was at Poe Corn, losing to Lovington. They'll try to rebound from that loss by playing host to Gadsden tonight at 5:30. Goddard is 4-5 overall. Gadsden is 3-6. And Hagerman will be playing at Dexter. Hagerman's 5-3. Dexter is 2-7. That starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Last game, 74-18. Still can't believe that score. Hagerman won that game on the road. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Looking at the 2025 housing market, there is some good news for the new year. There are a lot more homes, but sitting unsold for much longer than usual. Active listings in November were 12.1% higher than they were in November 2023 and hit the highest level since 2020. Retailer Big Lots has received a bankruptcy judge's approval for a last-minute sale that will allow 200 to 400 stores to remain open under new ownership. The judge approved the sale at a court hearing in in Wilmington, Delaware. Big Lots filed for bankruptcy protection in September, seeking to sell its business to private equity firm Nexus Capital. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered Russia's government and the country's biggest bank to build cooperation with China in artificial intelligence. Putin's instructions were published on the Kremlin's website on Wednesday, 3 weeks after he announced that Russia would team up with BRICS partners and other countries to develop artificial intelligence. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
As you look forward to the new year, you may be making some New Year's resolutions for yourself. Things like exercising regularly, eating healthier, or something else that you may not do any longer than the first week of the year. How about you take a different approach for this year's resolution? Instead of focusing on yourself, come up with a resolution that can help others. Look around you and see where there's a need and resolve to meet that need. It could be helping out once a month at a local nonprofit. It could be writing an encouraging note every week to someone who's sick or dealing with a difficult time. It could be intentionally sharing the story of how God has made a difference in your life. At Country Club Road, we are making resolutions for the future with this mission: know Jesus and make Jesus known. We invite you to join us as we work together to develop our Vision 2030 plan titled For All That You're Going to Do. Happy New Year and God bless.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
You there! What are these?
My glasses, Your Highness. They're
incredible. Who made these?
The eyesight in Roswell. Or was it Hobbs? Or maybe Carlsbad.
So well crafted and stylish. So the eyesight thinks they could challenge my throne with their quality eyewear.
Actually, Your Majesty, I got 2 pair and an eye exam. It was so easy. I did it during my lunch break, and they even took my insurance.
Lunch break? Who gave you a lunch break?
Human resources, Your Majesty.
Silence! I'll get you eyesight!
The Eyesight, now accepting new patients 5 and up in Roswell, Hobbs, and Carlsbad.
3 locations?
Clearly the best in sight.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
And their loved ones.
I agree with you.
A terrorist killed 15 people by driving a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street. We're told the suspect was inspired by ISIS.
The suspect was identified as a 42-year-old U.S. Army veteran from Texas, Shamsuddin Jabbar. FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge, Althea Duncan.
We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We are aggressively running down every lead.
The killer was an American citizen.
President Biden says Jabbar posted videos to social media saying he was inspired by the Islamic State group.
Expressing a desire to kill.
He joined the Army in 2007 and deployed to Afghanistan from 2009 to 2010. He transferred to the Army Reserves in 2015 and left the service in 2020 with the rank of Staff Sergeant.
Correspondent Jennifer King. An exploding Cybertruck outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas killed a person inside the rented vehicle early yesterday.
The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that the front glass doors at the Trump Hotel were not even broken.
Clark County Sheriff Kevin McMahill says powerful fireworks and camp fuel canisters were found inside the wreckage of the truck. 7 people nearby suffered minor injuries. 3 people are dead, 20 others injured in a New Year's fireworks explosion in a Honolulu area neighborhood. Fireworks have long been a part of New Year's celebrations on Hawaii. Authorities say perhaps it's time for people to give up that long-standing tradition. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 325 points. NASDAQ ahead 162. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote.
Call 800-498-2843. 800-498-2843. 800-498-2843.
More than 300 tons of toxic material being removed from the site of a deadly chemical spill at a Union Carbide plant in Bhopal, India, decades ago.
A convoy of trucks under tight security transported away contaminated soil, residue and chemicals packed in 12 specially designed containers. These will now be incinerated 225 kilometers away at the most sophisticated disposal plant in Madhya Pradesh state, despite concerns raised by communities living close to the incineration site. Officials insist the process will be completely safe. The order to finally clear the waste was made by the state's High Court last month, following the 40th anniversary, and strong criticism of the pace of the cleanup operation.
The BBC's Tom Bailey. Parts of the United Kingdom have been swamped by heavy rains and powerful winds that disrupted New Year's celebrations. Parts of the Manchester area are flooded. Townhall.com. One more look in the rear-view mirror.
The latest Rasmussen Report's national telephone and online survey finds that just 5% of American adults rate 2024 as one of the best years ever. 11% think it was an excellent year, and 20% rate 2024 as a good year. However, 34% of Americans give 2024 a poor rating. The 36% who rate 2024 at least a good year is slightly up from last year, when 34% said the same thing about 2023. Bernie Bennett reporting.
A day before his inauguration, President-elect Trump plans what's being called the Make America Great Again victory rally to take place in Washington, D.C. That word this morning from Mr. Trump's inauguration committee. The event is planned for the Capital One Arena on the 19th of January. That's a venue that has seating for just over 20,000 people. Aside from the incoming president, we don't know who else might be on the speaker's roster. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy
ringing it in.
2025.
Indeed.
It is the second day of this new year.
'Tis indeed. finally starting to slip into the throes of winter. The weather going to be chilly for the next
not
couple
like
of days.
the rest of this week. It's going to be like 60s and like 70s at some point.
Yeah.
But by like Monday.
Enjoy the rest of this week. But the
by
dip's
like,
coming.
Man, Monday is supposed to be 40s. They even use the word snow around like Tuesday of next week. I don't think it's going to be much snow, but the word snow is there. So just warning you. It's coming, allegedly.
The blizzard, it's on its way.
Allegedly.
I love getting around this time of the year, every single year, we always get the Goliath update. Just a reminder of, remember when this happened?
And it shows up in your feeds and all that. Yeah.
One of the things that I was reminded of this year is, remember when I could get down on the ground and make a snow angel and get back up without a problem? That was fun. Those were good days. When it wasn't like a snow angel and then what looked like a snow struggle next to the snow angel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's me now, just trying to get up.
I just remember it taking 2 days to shovel the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started, and then I was like, yeah, there's a lot of snow. I had a snow shovel. I was one of the few people that own one. I still own it.
Now, were you already at the home you're in currently?
No. I was on my home on Sunset back then.
Okay.
So that was that year, and I had that hill, and I couldn't even get. I had a RAV4 at that time, and it was not 4-wheel drive, and I couldn't get it out of the driveway.
Now that means you had like the entire Sunset pits behind you.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have gone back and seen what Goliath looked like from your second floor window.
Yeah.
To picture the Sunset pits just after that 4 foot of snow or 3 foot of snow with the drifts. I bet it was pretty.
Yeah, it was nice till people started.
A lot of tobogganers out there.
Yeah, until people started like traipsing all over it and getting it all messy.
Getting it all muddy.
Yeah, but it was it was pretty, that area. It was fun for about 5 minutes, and then I was like, yeah, it's not fun anymore.
Y'all lucked out though, because you had access to roads. Like we shoveled our driveway, we had a circle driveway, but then what? Because we were down a gravel graded road to get. It wasn't actually paved over.
And if I remember right, like the storm started like on a Sunday, or it was over like a weekend.
It was over the weekend, yeah.
And I remember that Monday, that was the hot mess day.
Mm-hmm.
And a snowplow showed up Wednesday down our street, which was pretty quick, all things considered. So by Thursday, I could drive myself to work. By that time, my RAV4, I was couldn't get it out of the driveway. But we had Jeffrey's Breaking Bad mobile.
Oh,
and
the Aztec?
And the Breaking Bad mobile, he plowed that sucker through.
Nice.
He beat the snot out of it.
I'm telling you, those Aztecs, people poo-pooed on them. But that's a good vehicle.
That's how we Walter Whited it to work.
Nice. Yeah, because from where our house was at the time, you had to go down this one gravel road all the way until it got to a paved road. But even the paved road was like pretty sketch up into you got to Main Street, and there was no way to get our vehicles down that road, so I had to walk down that road up to Main Street, up Main to the Walmart to get food. Which, by the way, the shelves had been wiped by that point.
Destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, we found enough. We found the stuff to make spaghetti. That was basically what was left.
That's pretty. That's a win. That's a victory.
That was.
Yeah.
I remember putting 2 grocery bags over each shoe just to keep the moisture out, and that really didn't work that well. But
I mean, I did see my fair share of memes over the holiday of the Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
The Wonder Bread waterproofers.
Snowshoes.
Yeah, those were the official socks
Absolutely.
of winter, was the Wonder Bread bag.
But yeah, I remember at the time I was walking back with my bag of supplies, and I remember in my head, I'm like, this is going to be the story I tell my grandkids, that I walked traipsed through the snow, uphill with bags on my feet to get spaghetti for the family.
That's right. Get your formula. In this DVD of The Last Boy Scout.
Because I care about the entertainment of this family.
Yep. Which that'd have been a good find too, Last Boy Scout. Good movie. Go back.
Yeah.
Go back and I saw some of it about 8 years ago, and I remember still enjoying it. I need to go for a rewatch.
It's been so long. That was one of my dad's favorite. He loved the 48 Hours movies.
Mm-hmm.
He loved The Last Boy Scout. He was into the movies of that time, that era.
I don't know why this line always sticks in my head, but there was a scene in The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, and Damon Wayans is a quarterback for a football team. Bruce Willis is a cop, and anyway, the daughter gets kidnapped or something, and they're trying to shake down the bad guy, and the bad guy's using all kinds of big words. And then they start beating the snot out of him. And Damon Wayans gets up, looks at Bruce Willis. He goes, "Hey, we're getting our blank kicked by the inventor of Scrabble." And that line's always just stuck in my head all these years.
You loquacious.
But yeah, I like that movie. It was a good movie. I'd like to go see if it's available on like Freevee or
I'm sure it's out
one
there.
of these channels. I'm not paying for
It's
it.
yeah. Don't shell out good like actual fold money for it.
But it's free on something. Watch it. Check it out. Let me give you the rundown for this hour. We're going to get you up to date with the weather. But we already kind of did it. It's going to be nice this week, kind of not so next week.
Yeah.
And then here we're in just a few. We'll play our interview we had with Matt Bristol from last month, talking just end of year stuff, family stuff, things you kind of do over the holidays, but in case you missed it, or play it, and in case you got a little holiday left, got this weekend, maybe you can knock it out, do some stuff, and do all that. So we'll play that for you here in just a bit.
Last lingering days to enjoy your peppermint flavors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inappropriate once you hit mid-January.
I haven't noticed, but is the Valentine's Day stuff showed up on the shelves yet?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were still doing the Christmas thing. Or anything.
No, they were. I was wandering through Walmart early yesterday, and I noticed everybody putting up the shelves in the little action aisle for all the fluffy things that are going to be available for Valentine's Day.
Yes. It'll be delightful.
The Conversation Hearts people are going to be doing situationship hearts this year.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so for those folks who, they're enjoying each other's company, but they're not in a relationship.
Right.
It's a situationship.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing those will just be blank hearts.
Well, I'm going to take a stab that like the hearts or the sayings are considered too aggressive.
Maybe like
be mine.
Yeah.
That sounds aggressive.
Yeah.
It's
like, how's it going? You up?
I mean,
stuff like that. That's
we did Me Too, Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
Remember that? So I'm just feeling like those hearts, probably a few of those got Me Too'd as well.
The situationship hearts just say stuff like, pull up. Back shots, question mark?
Who dis? New phone, who dis?
What that mouth do? All right. yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's going to be that. And those hearts don't even taste good. Like pound for pound, the seasons we talk about candy has some of the worst candy.
I think it was Futurama. It was Futurama or Simpsons. We're talking about using the classic recipe for conversation hearts, and it's chalk and earwig honey.
Valentine's Day needs to do what Christmas and Halloween have learned. Just get the regular candies and shape them like in hearts instead of trees.
Just extrude your normal candy to shape it like whatever holiday this is.
Exactly. The Christmas, they got even Snickers is getting in the game. We made Christmas tree Snickers and all. I was like, this is the way.
That's what I needed. I needed a Christmas tree with a vein in it.
Yeah, this is the way.
'Tis the season,
I'm just saying. M&M's. Heart shape M&M's. How hard is this? I feel like you got 37 colors. Make them heart shaped. Cheerios can figure it out. Why can't M&M's? That's right. All right, it is 8:16. Here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in pretty good shape for a while. We have high pressure over the Four Corners, and that's covering our area. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sunshine, and the wind should stay fairly calm. Low 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then we're expecting low 60s for the high on Friday, and we keep the sunshine. Mix of sun and clouds on Saturday, sunny on Sunday, highs in the 60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 75%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. Nice day today. Sunny skies. 68 are expected high. Winds will be out of the southwest at around 5 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 31 degrees with west winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, another nice one. Sunny skies, mid-60s, 64 officially with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Shifting to the south later in the day. Friday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 33 with south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Weekend on Saturday, partly cloudy, hitting 70 on Saturday. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday evening, mostly clear with an overnight low of 39 degrees. Sunday, a little cooler, but still in the 60s, sunny and 62. And then we drop down into the 20s overnight Sunday night, so a cold front moving in Sunday there late, looks like. And then Monday and start next week, definitely cooler temps. We're 49 under sunny skies for Monday. Monday night, mostly cloudy, 27 for a low. And then they're talking slight chances of rain and snow on Tuesday with 43 for a high. And 44 for Wednesday by midweek. I mean, yeah, so they're talking Tuesday night. You could see rain and snow chances, but do your homework, kids. I think that's not happening. You're going to school. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll play our interview with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law. Don't go away.
Wakefield Oil Company is a name you can rely on with full service at the pump the way it used to be. You can expect service in just 15 seconds. They offer bulk fuel and oil services and even diesel exhaust fluid. Wakefield Oil Company will deliver to farms, ranches, dairies, the oil fields, and more with dependable service you can count on. So the next time you need service or delivery, go with the name that locals have trusted since 1983. Wakefield Oil Company, 311 South Virginia in Roswell. Let them earn your business.
Your window of opportunity is almost here. Open enrollment period is your chance to sign up for affordable health insurance through Be Well, New Mexico's health insurance marketplace. Get free help finding a quality, low-cost plan that covers medical appointments, urgent care, prescriptions, and more. You could even qualify for free coverage. Visit BeWellNM.com between November 1st and January 15th to find a plan that fits your life and your budget, and open a whole new world of possibilities.
Schlotzsky's is now open in Artesia, home of some serious sandwiches, soups, and so much more. Grab a seat and a spoon, cause soup's on. Schlotzsky's signature soups are sure to satisfy, like cheese with broccoli, tomato with basil, or loaded baked potato. And if soup's not on your list, try Schlotzsky's creamy mac and cheese, topped with real cheddar. Scoop up Schlotzsky's signature soups and sides as a standalone, or pair it up with one of their unbelievable sandwiches. Whatever you choose, Schlotzsky's has lots for everyone. Now open in Artesia. Come see what's waiting for you at Schlotzsky's. It's a mouthful.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most loved rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the orange building across from Church on the Move in Roswell, and save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS, 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
Find your path to a greater future with Eastern New Mexico University. If you're looking to take the next step in your higher education journey, both in person and online, Eastern New Mexico University is the place for you. ENMU is now accepting applications for spring 2025, so don't miss out on your opportunity to join more than 5,700 fellow Greyhounds on this exciting path to student success. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success, that's what we're about.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the fourth floor, Matt Bristol back with Bristol Law. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mike. How you doing?
Doing well. How was your Thanksgiving? I don't think I've talked to you on the radio since Thanksgiving.
It was quiet. We went up to Albuquerque to visit stepson and his wife. Had a good time. And how was y'all's Thanksgiving?
Good. It was. We went to Albuquerque and just did the family thing and ate copious amounts of turkey, watched football, and Passed out in front of the TV. Oh,
good. And when is Kim off for the winter break? When does that happen?
Let's see. I believe she's got another week or so. I know we're going to head out from Maryland here on like the 22nd or 23rd, that weekend before there. So, and I believe she's off that. I believe she gets off that Friday. So, like the 20, whatever it is, that whatever that week before Christmas is, I think that's her last week.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I know it's coming up, but since I don't have kids in school, I'm a little fuzzy on the dates.
Yeah, and I'd be honest, I am too till she tells me. It's like, oh, you're back. Okay, yeah. It's like, I'm off next week. Oh, okay, cool.
We'll have a good time in Maryland.
Yeah, we'll do. And are you going to be in town or?
Yep, just going to stay in town. This Wednesday, I leave for South Dakota and do a little pheasant hunting up there for a few days.
Nice. Is that going to be Christmas dinner you bringing back? Or?
With any luck.
Is there a certain pheasant or just quail or whatever you got out there?
It's pheasant.
Okay.
It's just on a preserve.
Oh, okay.
So they're how we think of pheasants, Chinese ring.
Gotcha.
Ringnecks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just kind of, all little birds that, kind of gust out, boom, boom, boom. All of them taste like chicken. And they all fry up pretty good.
Yeah, they do.
Good deal. Well, of course, for folks not familiar, Matt joins us each and every month. And generally, we just talk just legal advice, whether it's for the family, sometimes it's for the business. But it's more the preparation, preparing, doing things on the front end to avoid dealings with guys like Matt as much on the back end.
Yes. Yes, proper planning prevents poor performance. That's
Absolutely.
For sure.
And so we discuss various issues from, wills and that side of thing on family side, but to, the differences between partnerships and LLCs and the advantages and disadvantages of all of those.
Yeah.
So.
And as we've said before, holidays is a time when family gets together. And that's always a good time for the parents to sit the kids down and say, by the way, this is the estate plan and this is how things can be divvied up. Because one of the things that I see all the time is people come in and they say, well, that's not what Dad told me. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's got a whole different story about, stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's why there's the wills and what you do with all that. But even the more important thing is and this is kind of where Matt's going, is when you do die, does someone know what to do next?
Exactly.
And that's really what that conversation's about is, do they know where these important papers are, or is there a certain person they're supposed to talk to do? I mean, do they know
Absolutely.
What is there a plan in place that should you leave the earth, what happens next? And that should be, every family should have something like that.
Exactly.
For especially for, the breadwinners, the people that are kind of, providing the finances for the family. What happens when they're gone? What happens next?
Well, especially if there's just one spouse who handles the finances and keeps the other one in the dark. That's never a good thing.
Sure.
But now that the whole family is here, let's get a safe deposit box and put all the important papers in there, get everybody a signature on the safe deposit box so they can get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say, well, I've got a gun case or whatever, and a gun safe, and I tell them, well, that's rated for a certain amount of heat for a certain amount of time. And then after that, everything inside is going to bake like a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get a safe deposit box at a bank and put the important papers in there.
It's things like that. It's always a good idea to have off-site. It just is just smart, just that extra layer of protection for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, toss in the, if you got life insurance, toss it in there, the policy.
If you're a veteran, I'd even keep a DD-214.
DD-214.
Just not a bad idea.
An extra copy or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, and they should have told you this, but if they didn't, new veterans, that DD-214 is very hard to replace if you lose it. Make a bazillion copies of it. Put one, I would even suggest maybe go down to the clerk's office and register it as a public document. Therefore, if you do lose it, it's a lot easier to replace.
Huh. And so it doesn't have too much personal information?
Yeah, there is a thing. They told us, go down to the clerk's office. I remember back when I don't remember the exact phrasing that you used. They said, go down there and you can have it. and you submit to them, and they can make it something on public file so that you can have access to it if you do lose a copy of it. But it's very, very difficult to replace. If I don't know why, but Veterans Affairs make it very difficult to get a replacement of that.
Well, once it's recorded as public record, so you might.
There might be some pitfalls there. That was just advice I remember they gave me back now processing many moons ago in the military.
Yeah, there's, and I don't know if there's a way that they can just hold it but not make it public record or not. There's a process actually for wills that they will hold on to them but not make them public. But interesting. DD 214 bazillion copies.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, it's just a good idea to have that kind of stuff.
It is. So, mom and dad, the thing you want to think about, the worst case scenario is there's a fire.
Or a flood.
Or flood. And now and now the kids are saying, well, we need to make a claim on the car insurance. Who did mom and dad have for car insurance? Well, Mike, I thought you knew.
Yeah.
Mike says, oh, Matt, I thought you knew.
Oh, they used to have Geico or whatever. It's like, well, they haven't had that in 30 years or whatever. That's the thing,
So if you pay online, print out a receipt, write motor vehicle on it, stick in the safe deposit box, and really it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that.
Sure.
Or even an envelope if you're paying by mail. Yeah, so if there's an envelope has farmer's insurance, return address, and you write house on the front of the envelope, the kids are going to figure the rest of that out.
Yeah, it is a great way to make that so much simpler. And believe it or not, your family's going to be dealing with the stress of just you gone and everything else. The fact that you do something like that and tell them, even if you surprise them, say, hey, go here. And then when they open it and see, wow, he's got a color-coded and labeled and laminated and everything else. Awesome. But however you tell them that way, but I'm sure, they would, that would give them just that much less stress in a very stressful time in your family's life.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be any more complicated than just
if you really want to make it easy for your family, these are the kinds of things that you can do to help them after you're gone. It really does.
Yeah. Just throw in a bank statement, checking or savings, throw in the 401k statement. Those things are good for years and years. Even if you end up moving your 401k somewhere, there's a paper trail.
Absolutely.
And we can, follow that paper trail.
And obviously that's something you need to keep up to date on a yearly or whatever basis is, as often, as your bills change or those things, you pay off a loan and you don't need to, keep spending payments of something you already paid off. You get that out of there. And that way they know, when it does time to come and what assets, what bills need to be paid, which ones do not need to be paid and those kinds of things. And again, that's another conversation for another day. And, when it comes to dealing with the states and what bills to pay, and that's sometimes a great conversation with a guy like Matt, and the answer is never the same for two people. It depends on their circumstances. Sometimes you should pay that bill. No. That's a waste of money for you to pay that bill. So.
Yeah. I always tell people, just don't pay everything that comes in. Talk to me before you pay it. But if you're, the spouse that controls all the money, all the bill paying, to parentheses, to the detriment of the other spouse, then you probably should have two packages. One is, day of the month, 1 through 31, and then January through December package. And start writing down on the 1 through 31, what day of the month do you pay, what utilities or auto payment, house payment. Write that stuff down. And then the January through December stack, for what month do you pay the car insurance? Every 6 months? Do you pay it monthly? Taxes come up twice a year. Write those down.
I guess, since we do live in this age where most people don't have, I just have one of these handy.
Checkbook.
They do it all here. It might be good to include passwords to your websites for your banking or your apps or whatever in that documentation as well, so they can see what that, but then they can also look at this paper trail too and say, oh, it pays on the 5th. And you look, oh, look, sure enough, every date on the 5th, there's a withdrawal for X amount of dollars.
Well, if your spouse, passes away, you're bringing the surviving spouse, their brain's going to be Swiss cheese. And they're not going to think, oh, I'll just look at the bank statement online to see what day of the month bills are paid. They're not thinking clearly.
Sure. But I mean, just an added layer of just maybe, that in a case they start having questions about things. That gives them, in essence, and then they can do it without having to go through the banks giving 27 death certificates and all that to get that. Because that's the only other way they're going to get that information is that they got to do the death certificates.
Well, if there's most of those accounts can be joint accounts. So
sure, that's true. I'm just thinking if no one else had access to that account except for, that's where I'm thinking my brain's at.
So as attorneys actually have to have a written succession plan. It's required by the state bar.
Okay.
They call it succession, but it's really how the business is going to shut down if the attorney dies. And so you name another attorney, and then they've got this like 4 or 5 pages where you fill out the blanks of, where are the bank accounts, where are the passwords, is there litigation calendar, where are the client files, kind of stuff. And so, if you're a super organized person, you could do something like that. So in my succession plan, I actually put extra pages in there of don't forget payroll.
Right.
Pay the employees.
Also, they'll remind you. Excuse me. I know you lost somebody, but
yeah. And if we have any court cases, notify the court that that we're dead. Call off the court hearing if there's anything set up for a court hearing. Contact all the clients, tell them to come and get their stuff. So even just a succession plan like that, if you're the dominant spouse,
sure,
or the non-dominant spouse.
I'm going to guess too this is also a good time to even have not just the financial, but the medical questions too. If you're, senior getting up there and you're like, hopefully you've had these conversations before, but okay, if I'm going to have your sister be the one that's the power of attorney for me in medical situations, but you're going to be the power of attorney, and you're, maybe that conversation needs to be had too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just so everyone's on the same page because the moment you're in the hospital and stress levels are up, that's the last thing you want is everyone trying to figure out who gets to call the shots.
Yeah, so different children have different skill sets. So your medical POA may be a child with a medical background. Your financial POA may be a child with a financial background or more level head about money kind of stuff. So each child, has a different skill set, and you should pick according to the skill set.
Absolutely.
But let everybody know.
Yeah, that's how you avoid the fights. That's how you avoid the animosity, all the other things that'll brew and bubble up if you just kind of put everyone on the same page and have the conversations from the jump. Therefore, it doesn't create added stress, added animosity, added division at a time where that kind of stuff does happen without proper planning.
Especially if there's a second marriage.
Yes.
Are you going to leave the house to the kids? Are you going to leave it to your surviving spouse?
It gets very in the weeds very easily if you let it.
Real quick, yeah. So, you need to let people know what's going on so they can make their plans as well.
Well, and as of someone that's kind of seen, in my family, other people and things like that, it really is a bad thing. It's nothing worse than when you're gone and you see your family, but your family falls apart because of poor planning on this kind of stuff. People didn't give a clear. I've seen it a couple times where families, they flat out hate each other now.
Yeah.
Because they a miscommunication or a misunderstanding and at the end of the day, I think that's what it is. If someone just talked, even if you have the knockout dragged out over Christmas, at least everyone's, you know what I mean? Everyone's communicating and talking about it, and in good times, level heads can figure it out instead of trying to decide in bad times when usually that ends relationships or creates or even worse.
Well, because people don't know, well, why did Dad do it that way?
Yeah.
And
then everyone starts thinking it's because they can't do this or I'm this or and they start throwing their own idiosyncrasies in there.
And if one of the adult children, has really young children, and the parents may provide more money for that child who has really young children versus a child whose kids are all off to college or working.
Yeah.
So maybe question of perceived need as opposed to favoritism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But at least talk about it and let people plan. If you're in a second marriage and you want the house to go to your kids because that's almost the only asset you have, well, you need to tell your second wife she needs to make plans.
Sure. Well, and then true, it's like that's where those conversations, like you said, if someone's leaving someone more money, maybe it's not even responsibility things. Maybe it's like your dream was always to build your own business. Well, here you go. That's the business money.
Oh, there you go.
Do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you always had a dream of this, therefore you get the car or whatever it is. That that's where you have those conversations. They're trying to customize it to what that it could be a number of those things, but it's family and so. But have the conversation now during the holidays while everyone's in theory together, and maybe do it on a night before the drinking.
That would be a good idea. Yes.
Yeah. Not on the night everyone's been toasting to everybody.
Early morning over coffee.
Yeah, that might be a good. Yeah, maybe do it over grapefruit and toast or something. And, I mean, it's kind of bleary-eyed there, and getting things together.
Yeah.
But definitely something you need to think about here, and like I said, not only the financial side, but medical stuff. That's. What's the death and taxes? Those are the two guaranteed things in life here. And
that's right.
You got to have a plan for both.
We've got to have a plan. There's, some people prefer to be cremated, some buried. Mm-hmm. That's often a fight among the family of, what are we going to do? And well, Dad wanted this. Well, no, he changed his mind after. No, he didn't. And oh my God.
And I'm a fan if that's what you like doing is just doing all that yourself. I mean, we live in that world now. You can literally go down and plan your own funeral right down to the last detail.
Yeah.
And then literally just hand that plan to your kids and say, hey, when I die, that's what y'all do. And it's all set up. Go talk to the funeral home. They'll put the plan in place, and bada bing, bada boom. It's like, it's my funeral. I'm dying. That's how I want it. And I'm sure they're going to accept that.
in fact, for some people going to a nursing home and they're going to apply for Medicaid, you're only allowed $2,000 cash.
Right.
So, but you're allowed to spend your money. You're just not allowed to transfer it. So buying a prepaid funeral plan is an allowed expense.
Yeah. So it's a great way because now it's insurance and in essence, one less thing the family has to worry about when they got enough stuff to worry about.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I think focus on, maybe the emotional side and the healing side as opposed to creating more of the animosity and more deep feelings over lack of planning.
Yeah, so leaving a written succession plan of these are the things that you need to think about when I'm gone. Don't close any bank accounts for at least a year. Go through the safe deposit box. Make sure the utilities are paid. Taxes are due November and May. Leave a succession plan. When Jeff Bezos or who's the Tesla guy, Elon Musk.
Yes.
Okay, guess what? Tesla has a succession plan for when Elon croaks over.
I'm sure companies and insurance insisted on it.
Absolutely. They got a written plan.
Yeah,
what do we do next? How do we find the next guy?
Yeah, one guy's worth that much money, but it's like, you just can't walk away with it either.
Well, every Fortune 500 company, we have a succession plan for what happens if.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay for you to treat your family like business and have that kind of written plan.
Yep, absolutely. So please do that. And again, that's the kind of stuff that makes it so much better when these inevitable times happen, because I've seen it too many times. I mean, shoot, the whole Hollywood industry has a whole, they wouldn't have any television shows or movies to talk about if we didn't have these kinds of family squabbles over these kinds of things.
And I know we all think it's a long way off, but
until it isn't.
Until we get surprised.
And life can end at any moment. That's the thing in life. You can walk out tomorrow and get hit by a bus. That's the thing, but that literally can happen. One day, there's not going to be buses, and we can. No, you're not. But till that happens, one day you walk out and get hit by a bus.
Because all the buses will be EVs, we won't hear them coming.
Yeah, or we'll just have that Star Trek beam up thing, and we literally just go from over there and beam over there.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or even like the Harry Potter flu things where you go up the chimney and disappear somewhere. That'd be nice too. I don't know what happens in between, but same kind of concept.
Yep.
But till then, it's the official walk out the bus. Your life is, it could end at any given moment. If you died tomorrow or if you died next hour, would your family be, able to move on without relative, emotionally, sure. I mean, but financially or whatever, they're going to be fine tomorrow if you left this earth. And if you can't say yes, then maybe you need to start doing some planning and thinking about it.
Yeah, and I would definitely look at Social Security. and do some research on that about survivors' benefits. Or do you wait to take those because you might get more money? I'd kind of look at that situation. Had a husband and wife come in, and wife was a little older, and husband was going to take his Social Security at full retirement age. And but he had other assets. And so I said, well, have you thought about, delaying Social Security till you're 70 because you get 8% a year for each year you delay? And he says, well, no, I've got plenty of other money, and so there's no reason to wait. And I said, yeah, but
right, until there isn't.
But if you die first and you've waited till 70, your wife's going to get a huge bump up by getting your Social Security check.
So in essence, you're really planning for her life after you're gone.
What if?
Yeah.
Even though she's older, what if?
And if you don't need that money now, then why not put it away for that?
Yeah, and even if she passes first, and her check disappears when she dies, at least his Social Security check will be larger, and so it's little things like that.
Sure, but especially when you're getting to that point in life where you really are in a fixed income, where you're living off the money here and not having so much incoming each month, and that's you got to plan those kinds of things. So it's again, this is that we need and Matt and I, we have this conversation every year around this time just because it just makes sense, because 9 times out of 10, this is the busiest time of year or best time of year for family getting together, being together.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, hopefully families get together and somewhat good mood, but you do need to talk about business.
Sure. And I'm going to guess this is going to spawn other questions too, like if you don't have a will yet, maybe you should get one of those and all that. But and that's when you talk to a guy like Matt, and I know we live in a world where there's a do-it-yourself thing for everything, and I get all that, but when it comes,
you get what you pay for.
Exactly. I'm all for do-it-yourself if it's for something simple, but when it comes to planning something that in essence is going to dictate what happens after you're gone, that's kind of a big deal, and I don't think I'd just trust that to something that you can fill out in an hour, and you need to talk to an attorney, because a for one thing, every state in the union has different laws and rules governing what can and what is admissible in a will, what you can present in a will, how you present the will, and everything else. And if you don't know that information, you may have just done all that work and it didn't protect or anything else. And it applies like, by the way, you can't just simply just take a video on your phone and call that good. None of that is going to be admissible. You just wasted the data it cost to make that video.
and laws built around words.
Yeah.
Words are important, and words have certain meanings in the legal in the legal realm. And what you may think a word means may not be what the judges thinks it means.
Yeah, and so that's why a will is a bigger deal than you think it is.
Yep.
It's not just something you should just knock out in an hour on a website.
Yep.
You need to sit down with an attorney. I highly recommend Matt, but please, someone that's qualified to do these things.
If you already got a family attorney, great.
Yes,
go talk to them.
But talk to the legal professional and have that done. That way, because what you think you have is may or may not be what you actually have, unless you had that actual legal expert go through it and say, yes, that's exactly what you're giving or what you're not giving.
Yeah, so if you've got a CPA or maybe a business attorney, ask them who they recommend and go talk to someone and save what could be a bunch of money. When people come in, we spend most of the time, instead of talking about the will, because that's actually fairly simple, we talk about, well, how do you avoid probate for the kids? How do you make it easy for your spouse?
Right.
No one wants to probate a will if they don't have to. How do we fix that? And so that's really the majority of our conversation, is keeping out of probate.
Yeah. Basically, it's creating this plan that we were just talking about that you're supposed to have with your family. It's you now sitting down with your attorney, your person, saying, I want my plan of attack for what happens when I leave. And so, in essence, by creating a will, that's the process. The will's a step in that process, if that makes sense, and getting that all done. Because, like you said, that way, who pays what bills, and not
not all people you owe money to are created equal when you die.
Well, that's right. And there's some pretty interesting quirks about things.
And so there are people you need and should pay
right
after you die, and other people,
not so much.
Sorry, you lose, I died.
But knowing the difference, that's why you talk to the attorney.
Exactly. And I don't know about you, but when I die, I don't want to give any of my money to someone I don't have to. I want to make sure every dime of it goes where I wanted it to go.
Exactly.
You know, and so that's why having these conversations, even though I know it's not sexy, it's not fun, it could be just butt awkward. I get it.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I would rather have this done and everybody on the same page. Make some jokes, especially if you're younger. You know, you're like, we ain't seeing death for 40 years or whatever. You know, you make the jokes long. I know it's going to be a long time. But, I mean, have that fun, but have that communication, have that understanding.
Right.
Because I know we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to think about it, but it's going to happen. Guaranteed, you are going to leave this earth. And is there a plan or is not a plan? You got to, and that's what you got to figure out.
And young couples with young kids tend to think, well, I don't own anything. I don't need a will.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be true. But when you have small children, you use the will to name a testamentary guardian for those children.
As soon as you have you've brought life into this world, you
need a will.
Because it's not about you anymore.
You need to name a guardian for those children. Just, something you told somebody to do it for you is just like that. I love those TV commercials. You can have the car when I'm gone. Man, not binding.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
I love those. Those are so on.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you can have the car, but not just telling him in the garage there. We gotta do something different about it.
Got to be in writing.
Yeah. This is and here's the thing too. And that's the other question, that you don't have to do that with all your assets. You can or not, or can sometimes. That's the thing of wills. I mean, you may, because I don't know about y'all, but I remember as a kid, it was like the reading of the will, and it was always estates, and they're sitting in a room in front of usually a mahogany desk, and I leave my coin collection to young Lionel, and it's like, it's not really like that,
Not really, no.
But I think a lot of us still think it's like that. You know what I mean? It's certain assets, yeah. If you've got the vintage car that's the rare one of a kind thing, yeah, you might want to put that in the will. But if you're driving the Ford Pinto that everyone else got, I don't bequeath your Pinto to. No one's going to want that thing. Just it's part of the estate. They put it in the assets and sell it all.
Yeah. So when you name a guardian for the children, of course, you want to name someone who's good at child rearing, but you may name a different person to handle the kids' money until they become of age. Because, again, those are two different skill sets. And remember, those kids are going to be getting a Social Security check if you and your spouse are gone.
Right.
And you don't want the deadbeat drunk brother-in-law trying to get guardianship of the kids in order to get that beer money.
Yep. And unfortunately, there's a lot of these kind of, this is where the family stuff gets ugly, is someone tries to take advantage of this or something. And again, a lot of this can at least be mitigated by having the conversation that we just started this show saying you need to have.
Yep.
This is what, so please, I just saw a time, we're running a little quick, short on time here, but if you take nothing else from this conversation we had today, is have that plan of attack, have that, if you don't have one, let's start doing that.
Yep.
And then once you have one, let's sit down with the family and share it with everybody and get everybody on the same page on how to do that. So.
Yep. Talk to your spouse, get a plan, sit down with the kids, discuss the plan, get a safe deposit box.
And please understand, no two families are the same. Just because you talk to your buddy and they said, and yeah, they did it, that may not be the best situation for you. And that's why sitting down with a guy like Matt is because the law is black and white, but how it applies to you is very gray and very different.
Yeah, just because your buddy next door neighbor has a trust doesn't mean you need one, and most people don't.
Yeah, but. And so that's really where you have to have that conversation.
Yep.
We do have some time for some fact or fiction here.
Oh, so two little ones.
Okay.
So in the old Greek world, if somebody in the village or in the town was just a real pain in the you know what, you could actually vote them out of the village.
All right.
And so what they would do is the voting would happen on.
By the way, not opposed to what you're saying so far. Keep talking.
Yeah, if only we could do it in Washington.
Right. I'm listening.
So when they had the vote, there's no real paper to write on, so they'd write on pottery shards.
Okay.
Broken pieces of pottery, and they'd write, kick them out or leave them in or whatever. And so the Greek word for the broken pottery shards was ostrakon.
Okay.
Where we get the word ostracize.
Ostracize. Okay. I was trying to think. All right, where's it's very cool. I was kind of thinking on the pottery thing. I was like, all right, what's the potter? I was like, chits. What do we do? Yeah, I was trying to think of something like that. Some kind of.
Yeah, when you kick them out there, you're ostracized.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it comes from the word for broken pottery shards.
Nothing to do with the bird.
Nope.
Interesting.
And then, so there's a Greek word and begins with SYN. And so the Greek prefix SYN means with.
Okay.
Like synchrony, synchronize.
Synonymous.
Yeah. So the word is synkinecy. So you got the prefix SYN with. The kinesis is where you get the word kinetic.
Okay.
As in kinetic energy.
Gotcha.
There's motion.
Movement. Yeah.
Right. And so the Romans just took the exact same stuff and they just Latinized it, and it becomes the word emotion.
Ah, interesting.
And they kept that sense of motion
Fluidity
in the word. That there's, that's such a good movie. I felt so moved.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting if you think about it that way, that there's supposed to be movement going on. Anyway,
I think it is. It's neat. Because we think about it and we don't think of the connection until someone did think of the connection, and there is the connection. We just years later like, there is the connection.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of cool.
That is neat. So now, if you were listening and saying, you know what, I have none of these things these guys were talking about, maybe it's time to give Matt here a call and let's start talking about some of these things here.
Yeah. Let's get organized.
Yes.
So that's 625-5284.
Yeah.
BristolLawOffice.net.
Yeah. Set up an appointment. He'll sit down and talk with you. And don't forget, and he handles, other family law, other things. So if you've got other things in family planning you need to take care of. And if you have questions, anything legal, set up that meeting. Matt will sit down and talk to you, and maybe the conversation says, you know what, you don't really need me. You need to go down to the clerk's office, fill out these forms, and you're good to go. Or it may be, I'm glad you came. We need to sit down and hash this out.
And not a client of the day that says, I need this, and this is the dollar amount of my estate. And I said, wow, nope, I cannot do that. I will screw that up big time.
Gotcha.
So I need to send you to someone who knows what they're doing.
Sure.
So if I can't do it, then I'll send you to someone who can.
Then you will triage it to the person that can handle the.
Oh, yeah.
And that's. Oh, yeah. But anyway, that's make a call, make an appointment to talk to Matt, and trust me. If you think you don't need it or don't need it and be wrong, it's the consequences could be way more devastating. Just
on your survivors.
Just talk to Matt. Let Matt tell you you don't need that, and then you can have the peace of mind of not only thinking you're right but actually being right.
Yes, that's right. It's good to be informed, to make informed decisions.
Absolutely, because when it comes to your money, you don't want to, and your family, and you don't want to get that.
You don't want to roll the dice, no.
Well, as always, Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Safe travels as you go pheasant hunting here this week.
Safe travels on your Christmas.
And Merry Christmas as well. Yeah. I guess we'll see you in 2025 here. So.
Next year, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And then we'll be talking about taxes or something next time. So.
Well, maybe we'll have tax reform. You never know.
That's right. All right, new president. Who knows what's on the table.
I'll write that down. Maybe taxes.
There you go. Excellent. Well, Matt, as always, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
All right, 7:57, quick break before news. Don't go away.
Southeast part of the city. The victim was found by a passerby at about 4 in the morning near East Chisholm and Cahoon Avenue. The victim was found laying in the street and was deceased at the scene. He had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, according to Roswell police. The victim was later identified as 24-year-old Marco Antonio Munoz. Anyone with information about this is urged to call 575-624-6770. 20 employees of Southwest Cheese Factory in Clovis were injured in a chemical spill Monday. A dozen remain hospitalized today. Turns out the toxic gas leak caused the problem, likely due to an equipment malfunction. Nearly 9 gallons of toxic acid spilled and mixed with chlorine, creating a toxic chemical mixture. The CFD Hazardous Materials Response Team was called to the scene. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. The stock market will open again today, the first trading session of 2025, following a closure for the New Year's Day holiday, and the market put a wrap on the 2024 trading calendar, actually closing lower on Tuesday, but the second straight year was posted in which the S&P 500 posted gains exceeding 20%. And zooming out a bit here, it was all about enthusiasm investor over rate cuts, general economic strength, growth within the tech sector, artificial intelligence, and enthusiasm tied to that. In terms of economic data, today, look for initial jobless claims for the week ending December 28th, and also the construction spending numbers for November. Those are both due. Tomorrow, we'll get the ISM Manufacturing Index for December and also auto sales tomorrow. Beginning today, Amazon is requiring employees to return to office for 5 days a week. And now that the services have been finalized for former President Jimmy Carter, we also know that the stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, will be closed January 9th in honor of the National Day of Mourning. With business, I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
This is Judge Janine Pirro with an important message. A mom and her son were being followed by a man in a parking lot. As he approached their car, she pulled out her Byrna launcher, and the sight of it was enough to make him flee. Byrna gives you the power to protect your family without lethal force. No permits, no background checks, just peace of mind. Visit Byrna.com and use code Janine for 10% off. Remember, Byrna isn't legal in New York City or Yonkers. Stay safe. Stay prepared with Byrna.
In Iraq, our truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm. And my electrical was deemed unsafe. And I was about to lose homeowners insurance as well. I didn't really know where to go in order to get help. And so I applied for Operation Homefront Critical Financial Assistance Program. They've really been a blessing. Operation Homefront is a safety net. A lot of veterans, they fall through the cracks sometimes, and Operation Homefront, they catch us. It's been a blessing to us. It's a blessing to other veteran families, and it's good to know that when we come home, there are people who are there that care about us and want to see us do well and want to see us succeed, and we feel it, and we appreciate that. I would say you guys are...
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. He went online pledging allegiance to ISIS and expressing a desire to kill. That's what President Biden says about the terrorist who did kill 15 people in New Orleans, driving a rented pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street early yesterday morning. The FBI's Althea Duncan says 42-year-old attacker may not have acted alone.
We're aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
An update, correspondent Jennifer King.
Sources say when he died, he was wearing camouflage, a ballistic vest and helmet, and a flag of the Islamic State group was on the truck's trailer hitch. The FBI also says they found multiple improvised explosives, including pipe bombs, concealed in coolers. A Louisiana State Police intelligence bulletin obtained by the AP cited preliminary surveillance footage showing 3 men and a woman placing one of the devices, but federal officials did not confirm if there was a connection. I'm Jennifer King.
Quoting an anonymous law enforcement official, the AP reports the person killed in the exploding Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas was an active-duty U.S. Army soldier. Investigators say the truck was loaded with fireworks and fuel canisters. 7 bystanders suffered minor injuries in the explosion. The latest on the unemployment picture, the number of Americans applying for jobless benefits fell last week, dropping to its lowest level since March. The Labor Department says jobless claims are down by 9,000 to 211,000 last week. After a New Year's Eve blackout left most of Puerto Rico in the dark, today the lights are back on. The island's power grid has been on shaky ground since Hurricane Maria in 2017, and there have been warnings of possible scattered outages persisting in the coming few days. Watching Wall Street, first trading day of the month, the Dow is up 64 points, the Nasdaq 57 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
4 youngsters killed in Ecuador while in military custody are being laid to rest together amid protests and demands for justice.
Relatives, friends, and neighbors carried the caskets to the cemetery after a joint funeral was held in the poor neighborhood where they lived, Las Malvinas. The procession through the streets of Guayaquil took over an hour. The parents have vowed not to rest until they get justice. The 4 boys, aged between 11 and 15, disappeared after leaving home to play football. Their badly burned bodies were found near an Air Force base. A judge has ruled that Ecuador's Ministry of Defense must hold a public ceremony to apologize for their murder.
The BBC's Leonardo Rocha. Impeached South Korean President Yoon, in a message to conservative supporters rallying outside his Seoul residence, is vowing to fight to the end against anti-state forces, while his legal team warns police officers trying to detain him could face arrest. News and analysis, townhall.com. A sobering statistic.
Abortion was the leading cause of death globally in 2024, with a record 45 million unborn babies killed in the womb. According to Worldometer, as of noon, December 31st, 2024, there were 45.1 million abortions performed in the course of the year, while 8.2 million people died from cancer, 5 million from smoking, 1.7 million from HIV or AIDS, 1.3 million from traffic fatalities, and 1.1 million from suicide. Tasha Stevens reporting.
10 people injured, a shooting outside a nightclub in Queens, New York. Police say about 15 people were standing around outside the club at 11:15 p.m. when 4 men approached the group of 16 to 20-year-olds. They were waiting to get into a private event at the club. 3 to 4 of the men opened fire on the group, and no reason why has been given. Townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winter, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, welcome to 2025.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've planned ahead and things are going better for you.
Was that text for us?
Oh,
I don't feel like it was. That's a password to something, but I didn't ask for a password. Did you?
Let me read it out online. That's a great question.
But yeah, Happy New Year. Hope y'all are. You got a little. See, that's the one thing about a middle of the week New Year's Christmas situation is you kind of get to dip a toe into the new year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's
you
like
don't have to
days.
hit the ground running. I mean, kind of do, but most people kind of
like we'll get to it on Monday.
Take the rest of the week
or Tuesday.
Yeah.
As has been pointed out to me, yes, there is a teacher in service on Monday, so no school. Mom and Dad on Monday. You're stuck with them for one more day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, I understand. I get it. I live with them, so I get it.
That's all right. Those kids, they've been doing nothing but eating sugared things for the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. They've been living it up.
They're going to be coming in full guns a-blazing.
They'll be comatose. They'll just be like zombies Tuesday.
Oh, they might slip we got a few sugar cookies left. That's breakfast on Tuesday.
I'll put it this way. This is going to be a better half of the year. Or else. Yeah.
For you personally, or
no?
Just
for my situation personally, yeah.
Good.
Yep. No more Mr. Nice Dad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dad's gonna be regulating, huh?
I might have to.
Are the kids running the rooster?
The
right
asylum?
Now?
No, it's more of a situation of how things were left, and I ain't going to let things stay that way.
He watched his wrestling show last night. So he was a little hopped
a
up.
Little pumped up, yeah. I got the Pointer Sisters all revving through my blood. I'm so excited.
He's a little hopped up.
That's right. I'm on those Jesse Spano caffeine pills.
Oh man, did you watch like any New Year's stuff or anything? I did.
I dipped a toe. Oh.
Yeah.
How you doing? I toasted mics with Kim. I did watch a little bit. I watched some of the Nashville New Year celebration.
Yeah.
Which I think was at the Opry. They had like Nate Bargatze was there.
Okay.
A couple other country stars. Jelly Roll was there. What's his name? Bert Kreischer randomly was there. Yeah.
Shirtless?
No, he had a shirt on.
Well, it was cold.
Yeah. I respected it. Yeah.
It was chilly in New Year's Eve and all that.
Caught a little bit of that, a couple of their performances, and the actual toast at midnight. And then what I did was I celebrated what I call Oklahoma New Year's, where I basically toasted at 11 and watched my eyes close with the fall of the ball.
I didn't even get till midnight.
Not to our midnight. No,
I got to 9:30.
Yeah, Kim got to about 9:30.
Yeah,
couldn't even make it the East Coast New Year's. I tried.
But then we all woke up because of all the gunshots and stuff, and
yeah,
sound like a war zone.
Well, I did play that game for about an hour, laying there, gunshot or firework.
Oh, it's pretty easy to tell the difference when one takes about 5 seconds to load, and the other one's just a full clip in like 10 seconds. When you just hear.
Well, then occasionally I hear a whistle, and I'm like, oh, firework.
Yeah. At one point, I was playing the game automatic or bump stock.
Yeah.
Because like some of them were just going off with such succession that I'm like, you have to have some kind of tool.
I did see a thing on social media this morning. I don't know if it's a post it's been rehashed 57 times, but it said it finally happened, and there's some dude at the hospital with a bullet on his skull, top of his skull. He was a bald man.
Right.
How convenient.
I've heard, if I remember correctly, Mythbusters did a whole thing where they proved it can't fall at terminal velocity, but it still isn't going to feel great.
Yeah.
If it hits you.
Yeah.
Well,
and this thing was like not all. It was like embedded.
Right.
Like an inch or something.
It's like getting shot with a BB gun, I think, is what they said. Can break skin, but it's not going to do a lot of damage.
In all fairness.
Yeah.
Well,
Right
if
here.
it falls on your head.
Unless it hits like the squishy part, right? But you got a pretty hard melon right there. So.
Yeah, you do still have a bit of a soft spot somewhere like right here.
Right about where that bullet will hit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I did see that on there. I didn't put much weight into it because I'm pretty sure, like many things on the internet, despite what Abe Lincoln says, is not true.
Did you say? I'm sorry. Did you say Hey Blinken? Anthony Blinken?
Yeah, that's right. Aunt Blinken. My old buddy Aunt. Aunt Blinken.
But yeah, no, I didn't see any like the New Year's Rockin' Eve or like the Ryan Seacrest.
I actually
or
did see
anything.
the Nashville stuff too.
Did you watch the Nashville?
I think Shabuzi was there too. Which he's a country star now.
I saw some clips online of the CNN one with the what's his name?
Oh, did they bring back Anderson Cooper and
Andy
Kathy
Cohen.
Griffin?
Yeah, those two.
Oh, it's not Kathy Griffin.
Oh
anymore?
no, she got blacklisted.
Well, I know she did, but for a while. But I thought that she had like made her come back or something.
I think they just said, just don't go.
Don't
go away, Mad. Just go away.
So they instead decided we're going to put Andy Cohen on there.
It's been like that for I don't know a couple of years now. I never watched it. I just see highlights
I think
every year.
every year those two get like sloshed. Like they
that's I think it
they
is.
actually get sloshed.
You get Anderson Cooper.
That sounds gayer than an AEW intro.
They too could have equally played. I'm so excited.
Oh, the Elton John one?
No, you. I'll tell you later. No, but that does sound like you get those two dudes and get them boozed up. They're gonna get pretty fey.
Well, apparently that's what happened. I didn't watch any of it, but it was there and people were commenting on it.
Sounds like the Bravo New Year's special.
Just the whole world's that way.
Yeah, I think consistently they do get pretty sloshed every year.
That's why I literally. That's the moment I realized, I can watch Gladiator 2 for free. And so I started watching it, and I passed out about 11:30, so I hadn't finished it.
So you were not entertained?
Well, in all fairness, I did the same thing to the first Gladiator in the movie theater, so keeping tradition alive, except for I was in my house this time.
That's fair.
I will say this. The parts I've seen I'm liking.
Yeah?
Like the first half, I still haven't, I got...
I thought you might like it.
Yeah, I kind of like how they explain who he is and where he is. I still haven't got quite with the relationship between him and Mom yet. I'm right in the middle of that, but yeah. No,
some people like it better. Some people like the first one more.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if, and I haven't seen it all, so don't spoil alert me. But I'm still trying to figure out if Pedro Pascal's a good guy or bad guy and all that good stuff. So we're in the middle of all that. So.
Well, okay. He's a good guy. You finally learn it when the little green dude shows up. He's like on his side.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
it's what's his name? Goigu or Wagyu?
Grogu.
Or Wagyu or something.
Wagyu. A5 certified Wagyu.
He looks delicious.
Mm-hmm.
He's so marbled.
Speaking of New Year's,
look at those striations.
If I may, New Year's Day is also technically public domain day.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, you love the public domain.
I thought I heard you in there list because I kind of ran down the list yesterday too.
Yeah.
Anything exciting? Public domains
I believe
on
it's
us?
2 new Mickey Mouse cartoons, right?
Yes.
Including the first talkie.
It's the first one where Mickey Mouse speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of. Where you can actually hear him, and he doesn't sound anything like you expect him to.
Like, hey,
yeah.
I'm Mickey.
Hot dogs. Hot dogs.
The other one, if I'm pretty sure you have this on your list too, is Popeye.
Yes.
Yeah, Popeye is now in the
all
public domain.
Popeye? Or?
Like, finally free. He was technically, public domain, but only in, Europe.
So does that mean we're going to see Popeye on Popeyes? Like, at Popeyes, we'll see Popeye on
Now,
Popeyes?
here's the thing. It's an early comic book version of Popeye, wherein he didn't even get his power from spinach. Fun fact, the reason he got his power from spinach was because Big Spinach came along and said, we need something to help us sell our spinach. And Popeye became their mascot.
Popeyes, get big beans and rice in there. We could change this all up.
So,
Yeah. So if you're going to make something based on Popeye, you can't use spinach as
the early Popeye got his power from rubbing the 3 hairs on the head of his magic chicken.
Oh!
Yeah.
The Popeyes?
Yes.
Get your magic chicken out.
That's right.
I'm telling you. We also have it in a sandwich form.
Also, the skeleton dance. If you ever,
really?
If you remember that Merry Melody.
Oh yeah, I do.
The ones where the skeletons dance.
I do remember that.
Yes. There's also a movie specifically that has it's like a big variety show movie, and one of the songs is "Singing in the Rain."
Okay.
So the
Really?
movie "Singing in the Rain" came out in the 50s, but the
Okay.
song debuted back in 1929.
So that's technically fair use.
There you go. Look for it on a commercial near you.
Tintin,
Singing in the Rain.
I believe.
Tintin.
Yeah.
Yes. Tintin, the character. The Steven Spielberg movie is a famous Belgian character.
Okay.
And
not Rin Tin Tin.
Not
the
Rin
dog
Tin Tin,
from
no.
the from the 40s or 50s, wherever that was.
No, Tintin had a dog named Snowy. I only know that because there was an HBO show when I was a kid.
I do remember the show Rin Tin Tin.
That was a good show. Not quite the same.
It wasn't as involved as Lassie, but
No.
had the same feels.
He still tried.
There were no Mr. Ed. I'm just saying.
Also, one you might like is All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, yeah.
The English version.
Ah.
The book.
The book,
not the movie.
I believe a less popular Groucho Brothers movie.
So can you make it into a movie for free now?
The first Groucho Marx talking movie.
Yeah, first talkie.
Ah.
There you go. So it's the year of the talkie.
There's a Salvador Dali painting, which I cannot say the name of here on this.
Is it inappropriate?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
On this on this radio
podcast.
There is a book though called "Is Sex Necessary?"
Ah.
It's kind of like a parody.
It's
of
a pretty
those
short
types of
book.
books.
It's just yes.
I could see people using maybe Mickey or some of the. I think now we're getting farther down the
The
list.
fun fact is who wrote the book "Is Sex Necessary?" E.B. White.
Oh,
author of Charlotte's Web. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Be done.
Well, that's about it, I think.
No royalty checks coming for that one.
Nope. There you go.
Crystal Noble's here.
Patiently
the Humane
waiting.
Society.
While
We
we've been
probably
blocking her coffee this whole time.
Oh yeah, her iced coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, we all have colds, so we're sharing.
Yeah, we're spreading it around.
Sharon is Karen. It's 9:18. Crystal Noble will join us here in just a few from the Humane Society. But before we do that, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're in pretty good shape for a while. We have high pressure over the Four Corners, and that's covering our area. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sunshine, and the wind should stay fairly calm. Low 30s and clear for the overnight hours, and then we're expecting low 60s for the high on Friday, and we keep the sunshine. Mix of sun and clouds on Saturday, sunny on Sunday, highs in the 60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 36 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 70%. Winds are calm at the moment. Nice this week, not so much next week. Sunny and 68 for a high today. Winds will be out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 31 degrees. West winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, sunny, 64 for a high tomorrow. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 33 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Expected to hit 70 on Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 70. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear Saturday night with an overnight low of 39 degrees. Sunday during the day, not so bad, 62 and sunny. Cold front starts moving in, I think, Sunday night here. We're looking at an overnight low of 26 under clear skies Sunday night. And then Monday, we're not hitting 50, 49. Mostly cloudy. Mostly sunny with a high of 49. And they're talking Tuesday, we're looking at like slight chances of rain and snow showers Tuesday night as well. But we're in the 40s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So actual winter like next week. But this week, enjoy the 60s, even 70 on Saturday there. All right, it is 9:20. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then Crystal Noble will officially join us here from the Roswell Humane Society. Don't go away.
Whether it's NFL on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night, or college football, Game Day Roswell is your #1 destination, with a kitchen open for all your favorite snacks and apps, and a stocked bar with a full line of beers and spirits, with happy hour pricing all the time, including $4 bottles and $5 16-ounce tap. And try the Game Day Signature Shot Cinnamon Rocky Mountain Honey Whiskey, open Monday through Friday at 3, Saturdays at 11, and Sundays at 10:30 at 913 South Sunset in Roswell. Game Day, the place to go for sports.
Check out some of the savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. 5-ounce cans of Star-Kissed Chunk Light Tuna in water are 98 cents each, and boxes of Food Club mac and cheese are 2 for $1. In produce, 3-pound bags of juicy grapefruit are $2.77 each, and select bags of Dole salads are 2 for $5. In the meat department, family packs of boneless sirloin cut pork chops and boneless skinless chicken breasts are both $1.88 a pound. These are just some of the bargains you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
You there! What are these?
My glasses, Your Highness.
They're incredible. Who made these?
The eyesight in Roswell. Or was it Hobbs? Or maybe Carlsbad.
So well crafted and stylish. So the eyesight thinks they can challenge my throne with their quality eyewear.
Actually, Your Majesty, I got 2 pair and an eye exam. It was so easy. I did it during my lunch break, and they even took my insurance.
Lunch break? Who gave you a lunch break?
Human resources, Your Majesty.
Silence! I'll get you eyesight!
The Eyesight, now accepting new patients 5 and up in Roswell, Hobbs, and Carlsbad.
3 locations?
Clearly the best in sight.
As you look forward to the new year, you may be making some New Year's resolutions for yourself. Things like exercising regularly, eating healthier, or something else that you may not do any longer than the first week of the year. How about you take a different approach for this year's resolution? Instead of focusing on yourself, come up with a resolution that can help others. Look around you and see where there's a need and resolve to meet that need. It could be helping out once a month at a local nonprofit. It could be writing an encouraging note every week to someone who's sick or dealing with a difficult time. It could be intentionally sharing the story of how God has made a difference in your life. At Country Club Road, we are making resolutions for the future with this mission: know Jesus and make Jesus known. We invite you to join us as we work together to develop our Vision 2030 plan titled For All That You're Going to Do. Happy New Year and God bless.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits or the astronauts? Here's Mike Winters.
Guess it depends on the beans, huh? Good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us now officially in studio, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Way to bring in the new year. Everybody has colds.
That's right. It's the season. But I'm guessing things are going well at the Humane Society.
Yes.
Now that we're kind of through the Christmas season and kind of getting back to just regular life as normal at the Humane Society.
Yeah, no weird schedules. Back to normal.
Yeah.
Adoptions are resuming.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm guessing vets are now open back up, and you know, so you can get your shots or spays and neuters and things or whatever is needed to get the animals ready to go home. So yeah, if you're now ready to bring a pet into your home, they've got a fine selection of cats and dogs that are looking to be forever to be your forever family member here. So.
And starting the new year, I'm not sure how the city is going to put the public notice out to the residents of city limits, but the chain ban did pass.
Okay.
They have until some point in April to remedy the situation so their animals are not on chains. After that date, then citations and stuff will start to be issued.
Okay.
But the city's going to make some kind of an announcement. I know not everybody gets a newspaper, but if you're listening, chain ban did pass. So if you have an animal that's outside that is chained, after April, it will be illegal.
Yep. You'll have to either get your yard fenced in properly or find alternative methods. I know there's a couple different ones. They have the invisible fences and things like that. Those are still legal, but you can't just chain a dog up in the backyard anymore, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. It's I mean, I understand if you need for a minute to put a dog, while you're doing something, but you can't leave a dog out there all day.
No, and so there are, obviously stipulations. If you have your animal tethered while you are mowing the yard so the animal does not get in the way, obviously that's a different situation. But If your animal lives outside and is on a chain, that is not going to be legal anymore.
And to be honest, there's no benefit to that. If you're doing that, what's the point of having a pet?
Right.
Just because you like to pay for food and water. I mean, really, if you're not interacting with the pet, if you're not involving it as part of your family, then maybe you're not the family to be owning a pet. That's how it should be.
Right.
If you're not willing to make the dog as part of the family, let it in the house, or at least have indoor space for it to live, and you're not making it a part of the family. I mean, in actuality, it should live in your house, live with your family, and you take it out when it needs to go out, and you take it on walks, and that's what responsible pet owners do. Chaining it up for protection purposes or to annoy your neighbors or whatever reason you have, you're just creating a dog, and to be honest, you're deterring the mental health of that dog.
You are, because the majority of animals or dogs that have to live on a chain that don't have human interaction revert back to a feral form.
And then you all say, that dog's crazy. That's what I'll bring in the house. It's like, that dog's crazy because you left it chained up all the time. That's why.
And because you don't pay attention to it, you don't give it the adequate time it needs for energy release, brain stimulation. They're just like a child. You can't put a kid in a corner and expect it to not become some feral savage at some point in time.
Let me sit you on a chain and have you sit out here all day and see how you act to that.
Fling it some food here and there.
Yeah. See if you're the most pleasant person to be hanging around with, or people gonna think you're crazy too. That's exactly what you're doing to the dog. And the city finally, put an ordinance in saying, you can no longer do that. This is inhumane, and it needs to be rectified. So I guess the county, it's still legal. There's, but in city limits, that is the rule.
I'm not 100% sure what the county ordinances are.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
because
they may already have something in place.
I think they do.
Okay.
I think you're allowed to have them in a pen. They just can't be running free.
Gotcha.
Unless they're obviously in a fenced-in yard.
All right. I know some people have certain feelings about electric fences and those kinds of things. My brother used one, and they didn't have any issues, because he lives out in a place where he lives on the water there, but it's in a neighborhood, but he doesn't live in a fenced-in yard. But so he lets the dog out, and it's got the thing, and once it knows its boundaries, none of that ever happens.
And so when you do the invisible fences with the collars, when you're doing the setup of the fence, you also have to do a setup with the dog.
Yeah.
So you have the little display flags that show, and then you have your dog on a leash and you walk them by where the limit is. So that way they can feel the vibration that it's going to give first. And then if they cross it, that's when it gives the shock. But you teach them by the vibration not to go past that point.
Sure. Yeah, you just don't want them turn them loose, and then they go try to bolt through that thing, and then that's going to be a bad day for that dog.
Well, it is. And also, if they bolt through and get out on the other side, they're going to realize they can do it every time.
Yeah. You don't want to teach that lesson either.
No.
It's like you put up for this, and once you break free, you're free. But
and there's different types of things. They have the ones with the collars. They have the ones without the collars. And then they have the roll fences. So if you have a dog that climbs, basically it's just a PVC bar that's ran at the top. So when they get up there and they're trying to get their footing,
rolls,
basically,
right. Yeah.
it just rolls them right off.
So they're back down. Yeah. Might even work for cats for a minute.
It actually does. It actually does. One of the big cat sanctuaries that takes in injured cats caught in traps and stuff out in the mountains. They have those no-climb, but they have a larger PVC.
I'm about to say those are probably slightly larger because we're dealing with tigers and mountain lions.
Yeah, so they have the big cable for the cattle.
Yeah.
That runs through them, and then they have the big old 8-inch PVC, so that way they hit it and they can't go. But it's used on cats too.
I ain't gonna lie.
You want to put one up to see what the cats do?
Well, the problem is we'd have to do it on both sides.
No, I have a better idea.
Yeah.
Get a playpen.
Yeah.
Get PVCs and mount them to the top of the corner of the PVCs, and then just run some clothing wire through, and then run your PVC frame at the top, so you're making a little extender.
Yeah.
And then let the cats jump out of the playpen, and
that could be fun. Yeah, because if I did my back patio, I'd have to do both sides because we have stray, the neighborhood cats, and they do come in, and then it might turn into a roach motel. They might get in, and then they can't get out. So I'm like, no, I better put it on both sides so they can't get in or out.
Planter there in our patio, and they
Yeah, that's a. Well, we got they love to poop in there. That thing always gets plenty of fertilization. Yeah. It does.
So yeah, just get a playpen and some PVC and some clothesline wire. Make an indoor. Oh look, it's a timeout zone for the kitties. Bad kitty timeout.
That's right.
Time for hairball remover. You don't want to get it, so you're going in the timeout box.
Well, that'd be great in the middle of the night when the cat wants to walk right in front of you at half the pace you're trying to go, and you can't see them. So, like, you go to the playpen, so I could go to the bathroom.
I have a dog that does that. I have two now. That will walk directly in front of you at like molasses speed, and you're trying to like walk around them. So I call them the widowmakers because they'll stop and just plop right in front of you. Or like if I'm in the kitchen and I'm chopping something, they lay right behind me. So if I go to turn around, I trip. And I'm like, somebody's got a life insurance policy around here because I got two widowmakers. They're out for something.
Yeah, our cats are just like that. Hannah, but Bella, and then she'll get up right in your feet where you're trying to cook or something, and then you move, and then she yells at you like it's your fault.
Right?
Yeah. You put yourself there.
I'm just like, excuse you, you are disturbing me.
I'm moving.
Bella's become territorial. When we left for that 5 days, she would lay on my chair, my recliner. Well, now that Mom's back, that's her recliner she picks, and she gets mad when I boot her out. She starts just, just griping, and then she'll jump and hiss at me.
Oh, that's funny. She's like, look, you left me. This is now mine. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
She's the only cat I've met that like hisses at you just to cuss you out. Like that literally is. Like she'll like you make her get down or tell her no or whatever, and then she'll yell meow, and then she'll walk away, and as she's walking away here, like she cusses you out by hissing.
So we have a cat at the kennels. Her name is Precious. When she came in, she was really large, and the lady said that she wasn't sure if she was pregnant or not. And I was like, I don't know. She's kind of big. So took her to the vet. Well, she had pyometra, which is basically an infected uterus. And if it's not caught in time and it ruptures, it can kill the animal. So her uterus weighed 2 pounds.
Oh,
that's how much normal cats that like 3-4 months of age weigh.
Yeah.
So now that, she's got her stuff out and fixed, because she was quite pissy. You'd walk by her kennel and she'd just be basically she's just throwing the middle finger up every time you walk by her kennel.
Yeah, she's now probably,
she's like, I'm not gonna do it today, but you have a fresh bowl of food, and while she's eating, she's chewing you out. She's going nom 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 while she's eating. And I'm like, really? I'm not taking your food away from you. Nobody's taking your food away from me. It's all yours. And she's nom 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 nom.
Don't you think about it.
But she has she likes to hide and she likes to be covered. And it's really weird because I know cats like to hide, but she likes blankets.
Ah.
And so we got a blanket, one of the big, just like little lap throw blankets. And we put it in the kennel for her. Well, she goes in there, she curls up, and then she sticks one eye out the hole. So she's looking at you with one eye.
Right.
And I tell her, oh, my God, the blankie ate the kitty. And then she comes out, meow. So that is now her little morning game is the blankie ate the kitty.
Ah, well, cool.
And if you don't say it, she won't come out of the blanket. And then if you go to pick her up, she hisses at you. She's like, no. Blankie ate the kitty, and then I come out.
Sounds like a character.
She's hilarious, and she has two very, very beautiful, like light green eyes.
Oh, cool!
And I was like, I don't need a cat, but I like you.
So please, someone give this cat a loving home.
And she came in with another housemate, Princess, who's a tortoiseshell, and we all know how tortoiseshells are.
They do. I love the cat. Our tortoiseshell's an amazing cat.
Tortoiseshells are just like me, we have very common traits and
But once you get that loyalty, boy howdy, they'll go through fire with you. You know, that's kind of how
I laugh because Precious and Princess, you know, like they're close by each other, and you could tell they're sisters because Precious will be like reaching around to touch her, and she's like, "Oh, no," and like you just hear the little slap fest going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You two stop it! You lived in the same house together." And then you let them out to go play together, and they're just like beating each other up like tomboys, throwing each other into the walls. It sounds like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, y'all stop. And then they lay there and they start grooming each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sisterly, brotherly love kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So our cats are the same way. They do all that, but deep down they like each other. Any moment one of them cries out in pain or whatever, the other one's right there, right in their face. Ooh, you okay? Right there, you know, right in there looking at them. You okay? What's up? What's going on? Yeah,
it's funny. Our little dog Honeybee. Obviously, you know, little dogs have big dog syndrome, and so with my sister staying with us and her dog, she has, you know, medium-sized dogs and then the Great Dane. And Honeybee's like, oh no, I am queen in this house. And anytime, like if John or I are playing with one of the two pit bull mixes and she thinks that we're hurting one of them, she charges us. And she's like the little dog or the little fox from the labyrinth. And she's like, arr! And I'm like, really, Honeybee? And she jumps up and she pushes me away and she gets the other dog and she's checking him out. And then they all hover her and then she's like, oh, get off of me.
It's kind of funny how those little dramas get put together.
And it is because like she, like at first she was like, oh God, I don't want y'all. I don't like y'all. Now she's like, you will not come nowhere near them. They are mine.
Yeah. It's once they get to know, and that's the beauty of owning pets. And that's the fun part. And to be honest, you know, when you have one, it's kind of like I know Bill Cosby's not a thing, but, you know, it kind of can't say Bill Cosby stuff anymore. But Bill Cosby, back in his special back in the day, he goes, parents with one kid aren't really that parent. You know what I mean? They, you know, because something happens, you know who did it. They can't blame it on it. It's when pets are kind of the same way.
Right.
I mean, your pet. But to have two is to be the real pet owner.
Right, because when you have one, you know, they're lonely. They don't have the company of the other. You know, they can't toss and turn and raise a muck. Now, however, if you have an animal that does not like other animals, then it's best that you only have one animal.
Yeah, you got to feel those waters out and everything else. And always with cats, there's going to be dogs too, but cats, it's usually a little bit longer of a.
Yeah, cats hate change, and so you have to slowly integrate new things to them.
But dogs do too, especially when you get to alpha dog, beta dogs, and who's ruling the roost. And so, and generally speaking, if you get dogs that are like that, usually happens if you get similar breed dogs and similar. That's when you start getting that. If you get like big dog, little dog takes over in some aspects. Big dog doesn't look at it as a threat, but it's usually that one usually works.
You know, and it's funny because like Honeybee will sleep on any of the other dogs. Like they get on the couch or the dog beds and they go lay down. Then she climbs on top of them and sleeps on top of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this the hierarchy here? You know, what is this?
Yeah, it's kind of that. Well, it's probably like in life, where you know, like when you have the protector types, the big. And, you know, those folks. And then you have folks that are, you know, not big in stature, but big in personality. And generally, you know, the people that are bigger in stature, like, you know, they you know what I mean? It just, there's almost a adoption kind of feel to it. It's like, oh, you know, yeah, they're annoying, but they're my annoying. And I'm I'm going to go through, you know, animals, I think also do those same kind of things. It's like, oh, yeah, I know the Chihuahua's annoying, but it's my brother or my sister. And
that's
how
my
it's gonna
Chihuahua,
be. Yeah.
my annoying. Yeah. Only I can beat up the annoying. You cannot.
Yeah, it's going to sit here and bite my ear, and I'm just going to put up with it. But if you try anything, I'm going to knock you the next week.
Yeah, big brother, little
Humans
brother.
get the same thing.
Yeah.
Pets do too, and it's the same kind of deal. Cats as well, even though they don't show it as much, but they do that. And that's at the end of the day, that's what makes being a pet owner fun, and that's what makes that's
the
why
fun stories.
Not chaining your dog up in the backyard. That's why you don't do that. But you have these, you get those stories of just especially when you have the kids, and your kids integrate into the family. That's all the great stuff, because then you end up finding, especially with dogs, they're larger dogs. They end up being sidekicks for kids, for your sons or daughters.
There's a video or reels that there's a dog trainer guy, and he says, I have no fenced-in yard, and this is my child's protection, and he's got 7 German Shepherds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I ain't going nowhere near your yard.
That's a
But
very,
she gets up and she walks, and they get up and they follow her, and they lay down, and one of them lays kind of like we're facing the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. They all lay in like opposite direction. It's like own little military clique.
Right, they got their own little.
Yeah, they're like, I got your 6, I got your 3.
Right.
And it's weird. And he goes, I trained them to protect her, even from me.
Yeah.
And he goes, so this is my daughter's protection. And she snaps her finger, and all of them get up and they stand in a line right beside her. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And she walks, and they walk with her, and he's like, she knows how to command them, how to tell them what she needs. And if she feels she's in danger, she has a word to use that will put them into the next phase of protection.
Yeah. And you know how you build that is through building the trust and love of those dogs. It's, even in like police and military, when they train these canines for these things,
they are their partners.
It's all in that love and bond and trust and building.
I didn't know that Roswell had a canine unit for the dogs.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, they've got them in the county, too.
I knew the county. I didn't know that the city did.
Yeah, they start bringing them back in, and I think they're seeing good results from it and hoping to expand and bring more of that in. I know because of lawsuits and things. I think the dogs that they have now aren't tracking dogs. They're more for, like, drug sniffing and that kind of stuff. Not canines that are designed to be aggressive, or you know what I mean? They're not the ones that go after felons. They go out and look for lost people, look for drugs.
They're not the ones that run the field.
Yeah,
get
they
over
don't say,
here, you're going to get bit.
Yeah, see that guy who just robbed you? Go get him. I don't think they're trained to do that.
I just saw canine on a police car, and I was like, what?
I could be wrong, but I think they're not.
I don't know. It's nice to know,
Yeah. But yeah, I've always said for years, canines are amazing tools for our law enforcement. And obviously German Shepherds are a very popular breed to be doing
and
that.
Malinois.
Yeah. But those dogs, even when they train them to do that, it's trained in love. And when it's time to work and do the attack parts, there is. But it's all still built in this love and trust situation.
Watching the videos of the big old dog bite suits, man, those suits look like they're like 100 pounds.
Well, they gotta be. They gotta be.
To be thick to protect, but man, I don't want to be the person inside the suit when that jaw is coming at me.
A dog like a German Shepherd or a Pit Bull or something of that jaw is very, very strong. And those teeth are probably 4 times stronger than anything a human has.
There are 2 cities, and I don't remember where they are, that their entire canine police force is pit bulls.
Yeah.
They're drugged, they're searched, they're rescued,
I know certain
you're
breeds,
gonna get bit.
Yeah, I know certain breeds destined, or they get these bad names, or they're kind of trained but I don't care. I've seen the most friendliest dogs on the planet were pit bulls and Rottweilers and the aggressive breeds. And
I'm more worried of a dachshund and a Chihuahua than I am a pit bull, Rottweiler.
Some people should not be owning these animals because that's the problem. But if you raise it like a family dog, like you would your lab or I guarantee that dog is going to be the most docile, most protective, and most loyal and most fun dog. Because those are the dogs that will roll around and wrestle on the floor, know just exactly the play versus aggressive thing, and they'll do that with you. And then at the same moment, when your kid has somebody come up to them they don't like, that dog will put themselves right in between it and make sure nothing comes by your kid.
Right.
And that's what you build that with the love, the trust, making it a family member. Teaching it to be a attack killer dog and doing all the things to make it. You're not training Rambo. That's not what you're doing. You're training
even if your dog's name is Rambo, that's not what you're training it to do.
You're not training a Green Beret. You're training a dog, and you gotta get on its level to get it to understand what you want it to do. And by beating it or doing whatever aggressive things, putting whatever things on it, you're sending very wrong signals. Yeah, you'll get it to be aggressive, but you're also going to be aggressive to everybody.
And you won't be able to control it.
Yep.
One of the dog trainers, Jimmy Preston, he has a wonderful class. And he basically teaches, you how to communicate to your dog and you to understand what your dog is saying back.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this fact because it's just basic, sit, down, stay, heel, walk, come. Just basic commands, nothing wild, nothing crazy. And I know he has more intensive training classes, but a friend of mine, anytime she gets a new animal, every single one of her kids is present at that class, and they rotate turns of being the handler, so the kids are able to handle the dog, command the dog.
Absolutely. And it also teaches the dog to understand the command regardless who's giving it.
Right.
Because that's sometimes a dog, goes loyal. And if you have one person doing all the commands and doing all the stuff, it will do all of that for that person and probably nobody else for anybody else. And so when you get everybody involved doing the same message, same thing, then when the dog hears sit, it knows to sit regardless if you said it or someone else said it.
Right. So if you need to do some training or you want some training advice, Jimmy Preston with J. Paul, you can find him on Facebook. He does classes. He does private sessions. Like I said, he has a variety of different things that he does do. But what I'm really mostly, so amazed with is the amount of people that go for just the basic training. So that way they can learn to communicate. Yeah. And
you're
taking
training
their kids.
The owner as much as you are the dog.
You are. Because there's a lot of things that, we don't realize that we do that sends a bad signal to them. And he's trained with Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer.
Right.
So he's
got the credentials.
He does have the credentials, and he helps us out when we have some animals that come in that need some working.
But please understand, whenever you use these dog trainers and everything, if you are not an active, integral part in that training, and they'll tell you themselves, then it's your waste of time and money.
Right, because
if you just, if you're going to have the trainer teach them all these things, and the dog's not, again, you're just wasting your money.
His thing is you are present with your animal. You are your animal's handler, and if you need help, he's there to help you. But you are the handler.
Absolutely. And that's kind of, and to be honest, once you probably do it the first time and stuff, you realize you can kind of do it on your own. It's just, but you got to be taught, just like your dog has to be taught, how to have a relationship, how to communicate, know what your dog's likes and dislikes are, what your likes and dislikes are, and how the dog can understand those things. And how do you get each other to understand those? And that's, and generally for me, I've always found that dogs love to please. That's something dogs, that nothing makes them happier when they make you happy.
Right.
So you always go over the top with praise and things like that. When they do something right, you make it a big deal, and that cements in their head that that's a good thing. And when I do that, I will be rewarded and be looked upon favorably for that. And so that's why when they poop in the right place, or when they didn't chew your shoe, you celebrate that win. You celebrate that win like they just won the lottery. And but that's what you learn in training. You learn these things and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, sorry.
No. If anybody is needing any advice or anything like that, we always refer them to Jimmy, because he does so much help with us. And several of the Humane Society's people have gone to his classes, and he's just a very good trainer that helps. So if you are... you got a new pet over the Christmas holiday, and you got to start getting in a routine.
I would
and
even
learning.
argue if maybe you've owned a lot of pets and consider yourself a pretty good pet owner. I imagine there's still some stuff you can learn from that.
I learn stuff
and make
every
it even
day.
better. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, you're literally eat, breathe, sleep pets. That's your world.
Yeah.
And this guy still teaches you new stuff every day. So that's a strong statement.
It is.
I know we're running a little short on
store.
time. Yeah, how's the thrift store?
So today is actually new thrift store day because they were closed
Thursday
yesterday.
and Wednesday because of New Year's. So,
Yeah.
So the 10 o'clock club, you got about 10 minutes to get out there.
You do.
Yeah.
So over the holiday, while we were closed, but we were still there working, it's no longer Christmas in there. They took all Christmas out. And it's refilled with a whole bunch of new stuff.
Good deal. So if you're looking for, I don't know, new decor, new clothing, a new 2025, new things to bring into 2025 and not spend a bunch of money doing it, come on down to the thrift store. And,
they went through the clothing, and they've rotated out clothing, stuff that didn't sell, and they put new stuff out. They put new shoes out all the time. They have a ton of new purses.
Looks like a whole new experience today when you come in.
Because people like Kim and I, who like purses, when we use our purses.
Don't you go buying your purses back, Kim.
Because I just got one.
Look, eyeing that.
Yeah.
I kind of figured you were out giving it the once over.
Well, so everybody that, has gone through, their Christmas stuff has started to bring it in for donations. We want to remind... That's funny. I was just telling my sister, I was like, I haven't seen a Dooney and Burke in a while. That's hilarious.
That was the replacement for now. So.
Come in, schedule time for drop-offs and pickups with Camille because it is overwhelming with everybody doing it. And we do ask... Sorry.
Bless you. Or
Thank you.
Whatever that was.
It was a coffee eating me.
A snoff.
Yeah. Don't leave donations after hours. We're still having looters coming and taking
You're
stuff.
creating more work than I know. Your heart is good, but unfortunately, other people's aren't, and it creates much more work.
We spent last week cleaning the park because somebody came through and rummaged through stuff that was left out, and they scattered it through the entire park behind the shelter. And so we're asking,
But your neighbors love, I'm sure. Yeah.
Please, if you got donations, do it while we're open. Call ahead of time. Say, hey, this is what I got. Can I bring it today? And
especially it's bigger stuff, furniture or things like that. They would love to have it, but they may say, can you hold on to it for a week? We'll even come get it, but we just don't
and
have
that's what
space
Camille is saying. I might not have room right now. Give me a day or so, and I will come pick it up from you. That way they can have the ample space because we have to be able to have clear spaces for people with wheelchairs and walkers.
You got to be ADA compliant and all that. Absolutely,
we do, and so we can't pack it full of stuff and people not be able to walk through and it be a hazard.
Some people would love that, but we gotta keep it. Gotta keep it. But thank you guys for considering the humane setting.
All donations we do appreciate.
But if you a little bit of patience, that way your donation can be of max benefit to the humane society.
Even me as an employee, they're always ask Camille, okay, I have stuff. Do you want me to bring it now or do you want me to wait?
Sure.
I even ask her, and
that's why I always check with you when we have stuff. I'm like, hey, Crystal, can you use this or no? And then you tell me.
So right after the holidays, obviously people, they got new stuff, they got new this, they got new that.
Gonna be an influx.
Yes. So just call ahead of time just to make sure that they have the room.
And that being said, if you didn't get any of the stuff you asked for, come by the thrift store and do some shopping today. There's a whole bunch of new stuff up there, and you might want to check it out. And know that every dime that you spend in that thrift store goes back to those animals at the Humane Society, whether it's paying for vet bills or cleaning supplies or just maintenance to maintain the facility to keep everything going.
Bless you.
You're helping out that. So every donation you make, every purchase you make does help that. So if you're a reader, I always say go up there, go do your library book shopping, and when you're done, donate them back for someone else, and just keep a steady of buying books and donating books, and you're helping the Humane Society every time doing that. So.
And if you're gonna donate books, I don't care if it's a cookbook, a regular book. If there's even one page missing out of that book, don't donate it.
It's worthless. Yeah. It's like renting a movie and in 5 minutes the movie is missing.
Right. I recently brought home a cookbook from there, trying some new recipes, and 15 pages out of the middle of the book were missing. I was like, what the?
I just had an idea of you were doing the recipe and then you flip over like, I don't know what to do next. The page is gone.
No, the entire, they ripped the entire thing out. So
someone got that recipe in their little box.
And it was all the good recipes too, because you flip through the back and you see what recipes are on what pages.
Right.
And I was like, man,
Yeah, don't do that.
So if you have, even if it's missing a single page, I don't care. Just don't. Yeah. If it's not complete, don't donate it.
Yeah, no one's gonna want that either. So. But if you'd love to shop, come on down, shop, get your stuff. Like I said, it's new day today.
It is. Today is new day stuff.
And come on down. And of course, pets, come on down and take a look. There, the shelters are open. All pets that are available for adoption are out and available here. You can always go to the website, roswellhumane.org. You can see every pet that's calling the Humane Society home right now. If you do see a not available next to it, it's because they're in quarantine because of weight or waiting shots or something like that.
Our website is broken.
Oh, is it down right now? All right.
That's the easiest way to put it. It's broken.
All right, so keep checking back.
So our website provider is doing a update to how their web builders work.
Gotcha.
And so our website was created with them years ago.
So it's got to be...
So we have to rebuild our website on the new platform.
Okay, so that might take a minute.
So it's going to be just a bit.
All right.
So our website is not up to date.
But that way, stay abreast on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They'll be updating photos and things there, so go like there and do
you
some
can
window
still
shopping.
click on it and go to the memberships and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's just we can't update the dogs and cats.
Gotcha.
We can't remove anything and we can't take anything off.
So do your window shopping
Or put anything on.
Facebook here for pets right now. It's probably the
Yeah.
best way. Or better yet, just come on down to the shelter and take a walk through the kennels and see what comes and strikes your fancy. So, good deal. Did we get it all?
I think we did.
Give the phone numbers for the shelter and for the
The kennels is 622-8950 and the thrift store is 623-9210.
And you got 4 minutes till the doors open for
Counting
New Stuff
down.
Day. So get out there.
Yes.
Well, Crystal, as always, thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Yes, Happy New Year.
We will see you here in a few weeks and get to healthy.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do the same thing. Take my own advice here. So. All
I
right,
took my vitamin C already.
That's right. Take my vitamin pills. All right, 9:56 news and quick wrap up before the show.
Now, your Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Police Department is investigating a shooting homicide that occurred early on New Year's Day, southeast part of the city. The victim was found by a passerby at about 4 in the morning near East Chisholm and Cahoon Avenue. The victim was found laying in the street and was deceased at the scene. He had suffered multiple gunshot wounds, according to Roswell police. The victim was later identified as 24-year-old Marco Antonio Munoz. Anyone with information about this is urged to call 575-624-6770. 20 employees of Southwest Cheese Factory in Clovis were injured in a chemical spill Monday. A dozen remain hospitalized today. Turns out the toxic gas leak caused the problem, likely due to an equipment malfunction. Nearly 9 gallons of toxic acid spilled and mixed with chlorine, creating a toxic chemical mixture. The CFD Hazardous Materials Response Team was called to the scene. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
With your Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. Backup quarterback Trey Lance will likely make his Cowboys regular season debut in Sunday's finale, hosting the playoff-bound Commanders. You'll hear from Lance after this.
Becky Hammond on Inspiration.
I hope it's an inspiration to girls out there, being the first woman to coach an NBA team. But I've always been more inspired by the future, not by what I've done, but by what's coming next.
What do you want to do next? Whether it's buying a home, growing your wealth, or protecting your assets, SWBC is here to support your next steps toward financial success with personalized service and expert advice.
Visit SWBC.com to take the next step toward your financial future.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger in Texas. And Reliant has the energy to power it all. From home field advantage to home sweet home, Reliant has Dallas Cowboys fans all across the Lone Star State covered for every electric moment this season and beyond. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
During Sunday's regular season finale for the Cowboys, expect some young guys who haven't played much, if at all, this season to get meaningful play time, including quarterback Trey Lance, who in 2 seasons hasn't taken a regular season snap for Dallas. Instead of being frustrated, he can look around the league at guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who are having huge years after moving from their first teams and onto greener pastures.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you see a guy that goes through ups and downs, which everyone does in this league, regardless of how low the lows are and how high the highs are, just the reality of playing this game. So yeah, guys I can learn a ton from, and guys that kind of just kept pressing and just found an opportunity and made the most of it. I think that's kind of what this league is all about.
Sunday's Commanders-Cowboys kickoff is noon Central. With your Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
Townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Firework mortars and camp fuel canisters. They were found stuffed in the back of a Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel early Wednesday. The blast killing a suspect inside the vehicle. The suspect identified as an active-duty U.S. Army Green Beret Matthew Livelsberger. At a press conference in Nevada, Clark County Sheriff Kevin McMahill says there are coincidences between the Las Vegas event and what happened in New Orleans. and they're looking at including where that Tesla was rented.
Both vehicles, I'm being told New Orleans was rented from Toro, and so was ours. That's another coincidence that absolutely is continuing to bear from our investigation that we have to continue to look into.
Meanwhile, New Orleans is pressing ahead with plans to reopen Bourbon Street as investigators keep digging into the background of the U.S. Army veteran who drove a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers, killing 14 people. 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar steered around a police blockade. It's being investigated as a terrorist act. Investigators believe Jabbar, who was also killed in the attack, was inspired by the Islamic State group and that he was acting alone. Also at townhall.com, the Supreme Court's Chief Justice is defending the principle of judicial independence.
John Roberts criticizes public officials across the political spectrum who suggest they might defy court orders, adding that the other branches of government must be willing to enforce court orders even if they're unpopular or could impact future political fortunes. He expressed his concerns in an annual report released on Tuesday.
That's correspondent George Williams. Stocks are higher, the Dow up 61 points, the Nasdaq Composite adding 101. More at townhall.com.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but you need to vacate this home.
Why, officer? I own this home free and clear. I lived here for 40 years.
Well, unfortunately, this paperwork says otherwise.
But I have nowhere else to go.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
This story is becoming all too common in the U.S. Scammers are preying on people with high equity or who own their homes free and clear of a mortgage. Only one company completely protects you. That's Equity Protect. Get your free risk report by texting the word HOME to 94878. Again, text the word HOME to 94878 to get your free risk report from Equity Protect.
Pro-Hamas protesters take to the streets on New Year's Day.
It was the same day 15 people in New Orleans were mowed down by a truck and killed by a Muslim supporter of ISIS. Hundreds of pro-Hamas protesters marched in New York City on New Year's Day for Intifada, blocking 6th Avenue in Manhattan. They carried signs that said Zionism is cancer, no war on Iran, and end all U.S. aid to Israel. They chanted, there is only one solution, Intifada revolution. The New Orleans attack took place in the early hours of New Year's Day when Shamsuddin Jabbar, who had pledged loyalty to ISIS, rammed his rented truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street. Tasha Stevens reporting.
10 people were wounded in a shooting outside a New York City nightclub while they were waiting to get into a private event. 3 or 4 men opening fire on that group. They fled in a car. Breaking news at townhall.com. Tesla suffering its first year-over-year sales decline in at least 9 years.
The annual sales decline for the Texas-based company came despite offers of discounts such as 0% financing, free charging, and low-price leases. Tesla delivered 495,570 vehicles from October through December, boosting deliveries to 1.79 million for the full year. However, that was about 1% below 2023 sales of 1.81 million as overall demand for electric vehicles declined. Rich Thomason reporting.
A looming TikTok ban could affect the millions of small businesses that use the short video social media app to grow their business. Though TikTok has only been around since 2016, small business owners are using that platform in a variety of ways, from growing a customer base to advertising and marketing, as well as selling goods directly from the site.